Good morning and welcome to City Stadium. Elimination Day here in the ODAC tournament. Washington Lee getting ready to take on Randolph-Macon. The Generals winners on the first day, lost yesterday to Bridgewater College. Randolph-Macon lost on the first day to Bridgewater, but then Randolph-Macon beat Bridgewater on the first day, lost to Hampton-Sydney on the second day. Hi, hello, I'm Jacob Geiger. Alongside me is Chris Bolger, and we are just moments away from first pitch. Washington Lee will be starting Greg Laswell. At pitcher, Kurt Breitmeyer will start for Randolph-Macon. We're going to take a 60-second timeout for the national anthem, and we'll be back with the starting lineups after that.
It's important to make sure your family has a plan in case of an emergency. We talked to this family to see if each of them knew where to meet if they were not together when something happened.
If a natural disaster happened and we were outside the home, we would all meet at the park. That's our meeting point.
I'm meeting place at our neighbor's house because she is my mom's good friend.
We all have a meeting spot, which is a bus stop.
Is your plan any better? To learn more about making an emergency plan for your family, go to ready.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the Ad Council.
I couldn't even imagine myself without a cigarette. I was like up to 2 packs a day.
1-800-QUIT now.
I just decided to call and see what it was about and see how they could help. They're there for you. I got stressed out and I picked up a cigarette, so I called the counselor and they told me that, it happens. Sometimes it takes a few tries. Nobody's perfect. Even if you quit, they're still there if you need them. If you're really serious about quitting, call.
Call 1-800-QUIT now, a public service of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and this station.
All right, the starting lineups, Washington Lee will be the visitors today. Third game in a row. Randolph-Macon will be the home team. The Generals, same lineup they've used for the second half of most of this year, and the same lineup they've had in the first two games of this tournament. Terrence McKelvey leading off. John DeTore hitting second, playing shortstop. McKelvey will be in his usual post in center. Will Lewis catching, hitting third. Hunter Starenbetz, the first baseman, hits fourth. Byron Peister, the second baseman, hitting fifth. Anthony Cardona, the right fielder, hitting sixth. Jim Plant-Holt hitting seventh, playing third base. Drew Deason, the designated hitter, hitting eighth. C.J. Thompson hitting ninth and playing left field. They will face Kurt Breitmeyer, making his sixth start of the year. He has a 9.0 ERA. He is 0-2, allowed 20 runs in 20 innings, 13 walks to 12 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .313 against him. Randolph-Macon has James Bierlein in center field. Kevin Davis at shortstop hitting second. Greg Molesky, the second baseman, hits third. Charlie Hart, the first baseman, hits fourth with 12 home runs on the year. Michael Wallace, the left fielder, hits fifth, also has 9 home runs for himself. J.C. Conway, the right fielder, sixth. Jeff Beck, the designated hitter, seventh. Jay Lister, the catcher, eighth. Adam Carpenter, the third baseman, ninth. They will face Greg Laswell, making his sixth start, 13th appearance overall. Laswell, a 6.28 ERA for Washington Lee, the sophomore transfer from Air Force. We'll talk more about that decision, I'm sure, in a little while. As we head to the bottom of the first, Jeff Stickley electing not to start ace Brendan Clark. He is apparently going to bring him on in relief and let Laswell get the start at least. So McKelvey digging in against Breitmeyer. Breitmeyer, the lefty, will face a couple of lefties and switch hitters here at the top of the lineup. And McKelvey watches ball one inside to get us started. 85 degrees already here at 11 a.m. in Lynchburg. Wind blowing out to center as it has the last 2 days. Ball two to McKelvey, also inside and low. The 2-0 pitch to Terrence McKelvey. And he is now ahead 3-0. Again, Jacob Geiger and Chris Bolger here for day 3 of the ODAC tournament. And this is an elimination game. 3-0 pitch to McKelvey, a called strike. He was taking all the way. Now the 3-1, Breitmeyer working fast, and he's walked McKelvey to start the game.
That was the theme that we saw a lot yesterday, was that the Generals' top of the order was incredibly patient. We saw them taking a lot of pitches and making the pitcher work and throw him something good to hit, so I wonder if that's going to be a reoccurring theme today.
When the Generals are patient, they do tend to have a lot of success. And Terrence McKelvey not afraid to take a walk, certainly. Sean DeTore takes a strike. Fastball over the inside corner. McKelvey, that was his 19th walk on the season in 32 games. A little check throw to first. McKelvey back standing up. The 0-1 to DeTore. Breitmeyer checks the runner to the plate. DeTore lays down a nice bunt along the first base line. Breitmeyer's got it. It's going to be a close play at first, but he makes a nice spin move and fires for the out. DeTore retired 1-3, but McKelvey moves to second. The first day, Generals couldn't get a sacrifice bunt down to save their life, but Jeff Stickley going back with a small ball approach today and having a little more success.
That was a beautiful bunt by DeTore, just outside the home plate circle on the grass, making the pitcher work for it. It was a close play at first base, and McKelvey advances to second.
And if you can't put down a sacrifice bunt, you'll never, ever, ever hit in the two spot for Jeff Stickley.
That's probably why DeTore's in there.
So now Will Lewis, the catcher, up to the plate. Lewis, a .362 hitter. And a check to second, no throw, though, from Breitmeyer. Generals lost 14-10 yesterday. It was the big 8-run fifth inning that did them in. 8 runs for Bridgewater in the fifth inning. And, of course, the big story at the end of the game was the injury to catcher Andrew Christmer. He hurt his back or neck and had to be taken off on an ambulance. Good news is he was able to come back to the ballpark later last night wearing a neck brace. Obviously will not play today, it appears. But otherwise, no serious injury, which is good news. 1-0 to Will Lewis, fouled away. Fouled straight back on a fastball. We are glad to hear that. And had about a 45-minute delay at the end of the game. That was in the top of the ninth inning with the Generals rallying. Ended up getting the tying run into the on-deck circle before finally going down. Curveball hit back up the middle. Nice diving stop by Davis. He's not going to have a play at first, though. So an infield single for Will Lewis.
It was a great piece of hitting by Will Lewis. There's a very slow curveball right across the middle of the plate, and he stayed back on it. Drove a ground ball up the middle. It was a fantastic play by the shortstop, Davis, to catch that ball. A diving stop up the middle.
Yeah, he just was not able to bounce up to his feet quick enough to make a throw, but
looked like he fumbled the transfer a bit, but
it keeps McKelvey from scoring. That was the
absolutely
good news for Randolph Macon, but the good news for the Generals is they have men on the corners, 1 out for Hunter Sarenbetz. Sarenbetz finally got his first hit in his final at bat yesterday. 1 for 9 so far in the tournament. He takes a curveball, strike one. Breitmeyer's pitch, fouled off on the right side into the screen. And Sarenbetz now down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 from Breitmeyer. Outside fastball, just missing off the edge of the plate, ball 1. We've had wide strike zones, and Sarenbetz has been caught looking on several occasions. So, good eye on that one to let it go. Inside, behind him, actually. I'm not sure what that was.
That's a pitch you might want to wear.
Yeah, that's one you should happily wear.
Big slow curveball, actually broken back of his knees.
Nice stop, though, by Lichter to keep that from going to the screen. 2-2, chopped back up the middle into center field for a single. McKelvey will score, and Will Lewis holds up at second. So Hunter Sarenbetz, he struggled at the plate early, but now an RBI single in today's game. The Generals strike first, lead 1-0. Byron Peister will now bat with Lewis at second, Sarenbetz at first. Peister having a great senior season, hitting .342. Also has a .453 on base percentage. That's second best on the team. Trailing only Terrence McKelvey. Curveball low. Start things off for Peister. Ball 1. Five teams remain here in the ODAC tournament. Only Peister ground ball up the middle for a single. We'll hold that thought as Will Lewis will be held up as that ball stopped in shallow center.
That was a smart move by Stickley. The center fielder was running in and actually put a pretty strong throw on the ball. He would have been caught by a good 15 feet at home plate.
Lewis in there for his power more than his speed, I think we can say.
Absolutely. He's a catcher.
But Anthony Cardona has loaded the base, has bases loaded waiting for him. With a sophomore right fielder for the Generals. And we're seeing Breitmeyer struggle here in the early going. Generals just hitting the ball straight back up the middle against him. Not hitting it terribly hard, but striking it well. First pitch to Cardona. Fastball high and away, ball one. And for Washington and Lee, this is exactly what you want.
Get an early lead, jump on them early, yeah. Give your pitcher some room to work with.
1-1 in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes. Bases loaded. No outs top of or 1 out top of the first. Cardona fouls one away. That was ball 3. It was high and outside. So now 2-1 count. Cardona a bit of a free swinger. Only 7 walks on the year. And the 2 into him, ripped into left field and down in front of the left fielder. He's going to boot the ball, does Wallace in left, so 2 runs will score. And Byron Peister holds up at second, though. But it's 3-0 Washington and Lee. A 2 RBI single for Anthony Cardona. Cardona got an inside pitch and just turned on it and laced it into shallow left, well over the head of the third baseman Carpenter, but no chance for Wallace, and already we're going to see a visit to the mound for Randolph Macon. Why don't we take this brief interlude to thank the people who help make these broadcasts possible. Duke's Antique Center, located at 30 Pinnacle Lane, just north of Walmart. They're open 365 days a year, from 9 to 6. Call them at 463-9511 at Duke's Antique Center. Seeing is believing. From the Washington and Lee University store, located in the Commons on the WNL campus, featuring expanded lines of Under Armour, Vineyard Vines, and Polo made exclusively for WNL. They're also an authorized Apple campus reseller, open Monday through Friday from 8 to 7 and Saturday from 10 to 5, or visit them online at bookstore.wlu.edu. The university store wishes good luck to the Generals. The winner of today's game has another one to play today at 7 p.m. The loser goes home. They will face they will face Hampton Sydney in that nightcap. Bridgewater will play Virginia Wesleyan in the afternoon contest. First pitch to Jim Plantholt, called strike outside corner. So Breitmeyer going to see if he can settle down. Peister at second, Cardona at first. Plantholt at the plate. Fouls one off down the right field side.
That was a pretty good pitch to hit right there.
Jim's been in a slump almost all season, but he got 3 hits yesterday, 3 singles.
Driven a couple runs, too, if I'm correct.
Pair of RBIs, scored a pair of runs, so that was a good showing for him. Hopefully that'll carry over. Fastball way outside, seeing a Plantholt to chase. He holds off. Count goes to 1-2. Generals hit the ball well yesterday, 15 hits, but poor pitching and poor defense doomed them.
You hit the ball well, especially in the later innings, and I think you're seeing that carry into this morning's game. They were able to score a lot of late inning runs, and
diving stop in the hole by the third baseman Carpenter on the ground ball by Plantholt, but he has no play, so another infield single, and the bases are loaded again.
It's the second time we've seen an infielder make a spectacular play and just bobble the transfer, couldn't come up with a throw.
Yeah, those have all been hits. The Generals are just really right on the ball, and we talked about that at the end of yesterday's game, that if the Generals could hit well, even if they lost, maybe that would help them carry into today. And so far, it's definitely done that. And Drew Deason has a chance here, bases loaded, 1 out, to really blow this thing wide open in the first inning. Already we're seeing action in the Macon bullpen, and no surprise as Breitmeyer is getting lit up. First pitch to Deason, curveball, places it nicely over the plate for strike 1 called. Deason, a .319 hitter. The 0-1 fastball grabbed and gloved and thrown home. And then to first, so a 1-2-3 double play gets the Generals stuck with only 3 runs, but they get 5 hits and those 3 runs, no errors, 2 men left on base, and we'll be back for the bottom of the first after this 30-second timeout.
Concentrate, Ben. Yes, that's good.
The odds of a child becoming a professional golfer? 1 in 140,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. Here are some of the signs. No big smiles or other joyful expressions by 6 months. No back and forth sharing of sounds or facial expressions by 9 months. And no babbling by 12 months. To learn more of the signs, visit autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Generals jump out to a 3-0 lead in the top of the first, and it could have been more, but Drew Deason bounced back to the pitcher for the 1-2-3 double play. And Chris, I know he was very frustrated with himself, and it's too bad for Washington Lee. You're happy to get 3, but you know you could have had 6 or something there.
Absolutely. With the bases loaded like that, it's a shame to cause 2 outs in that situation.
So Deason unable to continue the rally, but the good news for the Generals is they definitely are seeing Breitmeyer very well, and we're going to definitely see some more runs scored. The bad news for the Generals is they got a pitcher out on the mound, Greg Laswell, who has really struggled the second half of the season. And so we'll have to see if it's good Greg or bad Greg out there today. We'll hope he's going to rediscover some of the form that made him very effective early in the year. A 6.28 ERA, making his 6th start. He also made 7 relief appearances during the course of the season. For Randolph Macon, it will be Bierlein, Davis, and Molesky, center field, shortstop, second base, against Laswell here in the top of the first. We'll set the Generals defense for you in just a second. Bierlein, a .295 hitter, and he takes ball 1, fastball low. Laswell always working quickly. Comes back with a fastball outside corner, strike 1. One of the things when he's on, the working quickly is very effective. When he's off, he can tend to rush. The 1-1, little off speed, gets the outside corner, strike 2. 3 pitches, Bierlein has watched all of them. 1-2 in the dirt, fastball, so 2 balls, 2 strikes. As well gets the sign from Lewison to the plate. Held straight back into the screen. Hear it clang off the awning. 325 down the lines, 390 to center here in Lynchburg City Stadium. 16-foot high wall around the outfield makes this a very difficult place to hit a home run. 2-2, lofted into right, hard hit. Cardona chasing back, and it's going to be off the wall. Bierlein into second. He's going to have a chance for 3, but he will hold up as Cardona tracks it down quickly and makes a strong throw. So we just mentioned that big wall, and Bierlein bangs one off of it in deep right.
The dimensions are pretty short to the corners there. That didn't look like a very hard hit ball, but it just kind of carried up there and bounced right off the wall.
Wind is blowing out to center and right center, and that may have helped it carry a little bit. So now, just moments after the Generals got 3, Randolph Macon seeing if they can answer right away. Generals defense from left to right in the outfield. Thompson, McKelvey, Cardona. Around the horn, Plant, Holt, Vittori, Peister, Sarenbetz. Laswell pitching, Lewis catching. Showing bunt, but pulling back is Kevin Davis. He takes a pitch high for ball 1.
Runner on second had an enormous secondary lead there. I think that was going to be some sort of safety squeeze bunt. If the third baseman was running into field, then we're going to try and take third.
Hunter Sarenbetz is in about 15 feet in front of the bag. The Generals have a wheel play on. No bunt this time, and strike 1 called. Fastball in the outside corner, about knee high. Laswell checks the runner to the plate with his 1-1. It's laced in the right. It's going to be down in front of Cardona. He slips as he comes up with the ball, so his throw will not be anywhere near in time. And 2 batters leads to 1 run. An RBI single for Kevin Davis. This trend keeps up. We're headed for another 14-10 affair. And the question will just be who gets to 14 first. It's going to bring up Greg Molesky, the second baseman, 282 hitter on the season. Randolph Macon 18-18 overall, but 12-6 in conference play. Strike one called. It's 12-6 during the regular season. They have split their games so far here. Charlie Hart, the ODAC's top home run hitter, is on deck. Laswell fires to first and almost picks off Kevin Davis. He has a phenomenal move.
He has an absolutely phenomenal move, and that was a really close play. And the runner on first wasn't even taking a huge lead.
Opponents only stole 2 bases against Laswell in 43 innings, even though they ran all over the rest of the Generals pitching staff. Called strike on the inside corner, and that is because Laswell is very effective at holding runners on. So the lefty Molesky at the plate, facing the righty Laswell. Laswell checking his sign, and the runner deals, and it's fouled off towards the Generals' dugout.
One of the other things Laswell does really well is he changes up his timing, especially from the stretch. From the windup, he pitches very fast, but from the stretch, you'll see him come set, pause to a 1 count and throw, or next time he'll pause to a 2 or 3 count and throw. It upsets the runner's timing on first base and the hitters at home plate.
Set. This one a long count. Curveball right at plant hold. 5-4. Oh, Peiser dropped the ball. Peiser was looking at the bag, and he just dropped the ball. Unbelievable. Runner goes to third, and instead of a potential double play, there are still nobody out. And Molesky reaches on an E4. Byron booted the ball around yesterday, and unfortunately, that has continued for him today. Usually a very sure-handed fielder, but literally just ball went right through his hands.
That was a tailor-made double play. It was hit hard right at plant hold. It looked like he put a really good throw in. Peiser was late getting into the bag and was kind of finding the bag and wasn't paying attention to the ball. It went out into right field.
Now Charlie Hart, first pitch fouled off down the right field line. So no outmen on the corners, 1 run already in for Hart. A .302 hitter, 6 doubles, 12 home runs, 30 RBIs. And second on his team behind Michael Wallace, the man who's on deck. The 0-1. And a bit low. That was a fastball, makes it 1 ball, 1 strike. Laswell getting the sign. Set to the plate. Fastball low again, ball 2.
That's not a bad miss with Hart up at the plate. He's a fantastic power hitter, so keeping the ball low, especially with a runner on first base, is going to help him out.
Still no outs. 2-1 count. Chopped high. Planthold makes a great snag. Throws to second. Now to first. A great double play. Jim Planthold making a grab on a high hop that was about 8 feet in the air. And this time the Generals do convert the 5-4-3 double play. A run does score from third. But the Generals, I think, will take it in this case.
I think this early in the game you would always want to trade 1 run for 2 outs.
Especially when you have top 2 hitters on Randolph Macon team, and now you get to face Wallace with the bases empty.
Absolutely.
As he takes ball 1 just high, that was off speed.
That was a fantastic snag by Jimmy over at third base, and then to come down and set his feet and make a perfect throw to second for Byron.
And Byron turned that one very nicely. Another pitch misses high, 2-0 to Wallace. Lefty-righty matchup here. Laswell comes back with a fastball inside corner, strike 1. Wallace, a .336 hitter. Also has 9 home runs and 10 doubles. 34 RBIs. Curveball misses away, ball 3.
The hitter called time there. Couldn't keep up with the sprinter-like pace of Laswell on the mound.
He does like to work fast, and here's his 3-1 line right at the Torre. He catches the sinking liner before it can hit the ground. So 2 runs on 2 hits for Randolph Macon, but a nice double play started by Jim Plantholt helps the Generals limit the damage. After 1, they lead 3-2. We're back in 60 seconds to Lynchburg.
I don't need to start saving. I'm years from retirement.
Floods don't happen here.
This chest pain is just a little indigestion.
This isn't a flood zone, right?
People have an amazing ability to deny obvious risks, like flooding. Yet floods happen in all 50 states. Fortunately, it's easy to find out your risk. Just visit floodsmart.gov or call 1-888-RAIN-022. Brought to you by the National Flood Insurance Program.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
Top of the second at City Stadium in Lynchburg. It's going to be 9-1-2 for Washington Lee. That's C.J. Thompson, Terrence McKelvey, and John Dettori. General sent 8 men to the plate and got 3 runs before Drew Deason tapped into a bases-loaded double play. So we see both pitchers getting a double play to help prevent major damage. Kurt Breitmeyer, we'll see if his second inning can go better than his first. He leads off with a fastball outside to Thompson. A lefty-righty matchup. Lefty Breitmeyer into the windup. Thompson ropes that. Well, nice snag at second base as Molesky goes into the hole between first and second. And for the third time today, an infield single as he goes down and can't dig the ball out. That one looked like it was harder hit, but it just kind of died off of Thompson's bat. It made a funny sound when he hit it. Must have been off the end.
Got right off the end of the bat there. But still, that's fantastic getting the number 9 hitter on for Terrence McKelvey to come for him to drive it in.
Chris, you noticed during the break that Randolph Macon went ahead and set down the guy they had up in the bullpen during the bottom half of the inning, so they're going to give Breitmeyer a second shot at things, but he's going to have to take care of it against the top half of the lineup. McKelvey swings and misses a great curveball, or maybe even a straight change by Breitmeyer outside to the lefty McKelvey.
And right after the double play in the first inning, the Randolph Macon coach went out there and shut the pitcher down in the bullpen, so they're going to let him go for a little longer.
Throw to first. Thompson back standing up, had a short lead. Generals do not run that much, though Thompson does have 3 stolen bases.
Coach Stickley is much more a fan of the hit and run than the straight steal.
And a curveball, this one just missing perhaps a bit high. It was in the outside corner zone again, so 1-1. Breitmeyer set to the plate. Another curveball. This time he just catches the zone, makes it 1-2. They're not going to give anything to McKelvey that he can drive.
Don't blame them.
Yeah, a very wise move if you're pitching to Terrence.
Especially with runners on base.
He's hitting .437 and pitch inside almost hits him. I think McKelvey wanted to get out of the way there. Fastball.
Randolph Macon crowd not happy with that pitch. They can't see what we see. That ball is a good 8-9 inches inside.
2-2. Kelly fouls it off. It was a fastball outside near the corner. So a bit of defensive hitting from Terrence. Breitmeyer getting the sign, checking the runner, and he's going to throw to first. We haven't seen him really flash his move yet. That was just a little check on Thompson in case a hit and run's on.
Just letting him know who's watching him.
2-2 wouldn't be such a bad hit and run count. Curveball, McKelvey clubs it into right. That's going to be off the wall or over, and it hits 10 feet up. McKelvey racing into second, Thompson into third, and Terrence just reached out and touched that curveball.
Just waved at it, and the balls are carrying pretty far today. That didn't look like he put the hardest swing on it, but that hit a good 12 feet up on the 16-foot wall.
Tell you something about Terrence. He swung nice and easy, and there are 2 ads in each section of the wall, and each ad is about 8 feet high because you can see it with the right fielder out there. That one hit halfway up the second ad. And again, he didn't swing hard.
Well, Terrence just makes it look easy. He's got this effortless power in his swing. It looks good when he puts a full swing on it, but man, does he hit the ball hard.
So now men on second and third, no out for Dettori. Fastball chopped into the hole, and nice snag by Davis, but he'll have no play as he had to slide to get it. So an infield single Fourth of the day for W&L and an RBI for John DeTore. Generals just keep hitting the ground balls where Randolph-Macon can't get to them.
That's the whole philosophy in baseball. Hit them where they ain't.
A wise philosophy, I think. So Will Lewis, who singled his first time up, had one of those infield singles.
Now this might be a nice situation for a hit and run.
Activity already in the Randolph-Macon bullpen. It's a submariner. And we'll get you his name. It is Hale Litton. First pitch to Lewis. Curveball almost hits him. Just breaks in time, but is a ball. Will wasn't moving. He was going to stand in there and let that get him. So 1-0.
Two fast base runners on here. DeTore on first base. Infield's playing up.
DeTore goes. Lewis pops up. DeTore better get back fast. He's not going to get back in time, though. Caught by the third baseman, Carpenter, and fires to first. DeTore got a very poor read on that ball off the bat.
Well, I was right about the hit and run being on, and DeTore got a fantastic jump off the pitcher. It's just that Will Lewis, he got jammed on the pitch and popped it up right to the third baseman.
That was a high fly ball, and DeTore just didn't seem to find it for a long time.
Well, by the time he picked up the ball, he was already at second base.
Yeah, he was standing on second base, and he had no chance.
The ball wasn't actually hit that hard. It didn't go too high.
Hunter Sandberg's ground ball to second base. Molesky has it and fires to first. So another double play helps bail out Breitmeyer. The Generals get one run on 3 hits, no errors, and one runner left on base. We're heading to the bottom of the second. Generals up 4-2, back in 30 seconds.
At the football game, Jim shows the telltale signs of being wasted. He starts flexing for the camera. He refers to his muscles as gunboats. He screams, "How's this for a halftime show?" Jim streaks the field.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many to drive. But what if you've had just one too many to drive? Never underestimate just a few. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
Back at City Stadium, and we mentioned that we saw James Madden here the other day, and I just heard over the PA that he received an award as, I think, a top scholar athlete from last season, last night during one of the games. So James Madden, the General's right fielder for the past 3 years, now been replaced by Anthony Cardona. And Cardona's actually doing a pretty good James impression, hitting with power, showing some good speed. Has 2 triples. James was a big fan. I think James is top 5 on triples.
He loves the triples.
Terrence is the all-time record holder, I think, on triples for W&L. I don't have one of our media guys with me today. I'm almost certain it's Terrence, but James did pile up a bunch of triples himself.
But James Madden was a very strong left-handed hitter. He's a very small guy, wiry frame, but he turned on the ball. And a lot of his shots would just rattle around in the right field corner, and being so fast, he lugged out a lot of triples.
It's going to be J.C. Conway, the right fielder, starting it off for Macon here in the bottom of the second. Generals up 4-2, already have 8 hits in 2 innings. Curveball just misses inside for Laswell. Righty-righty matchup. The 1-0 fastball gets to the outside corner. And evens the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Laswell, as always, working fast. Fastball swung and missed. Strike 2.
Conway took a big hack at that pitch.
The 1-2 from Laswell. Fastball fouled off behind the Generals' dugout, out of play. Conway on the year, a .295 hitter. His 1-2. He pops it up in the foul territory. Lewis and Sarenbet's converging. Lewis dives. Full out. Can't get to it in time.
That was great hustle by Will Lewis on that play.
That one would be out of play at most stadiums in the ODAC, but was on the warning track here in front of the Generals' dugout.
Will Lewis, dust yourself off. You are bright gray right now.
So we'll do it 1-2 again here. As Laswell gets set. And fastball low and away, ball 2. One of the oddities of this stadium is there are no restrooms in the dugout, so you'll see players from both teams like trooping up through the stands to head back to the bathroom. Seems like a design flaw to me. The 2-2 to Conway in the dirt, ball 3. So Laszlo in danger of walking the leadoff hitter after being ahead 1-2. Full count pitch, fouled away by Conway. He's having a nice battle here to stay alive.
Saw a lot of this yesterday. The WNL pitchers were unable to close out after they got 2 strikes on them. This is now the 4th 2-strike count at this at-bat.
Full count again. Conway chops it to short. Torrey has it on a waist-high hop. And his throw to first beats Conway by a step and a half for the first out of the inning. I was reading something the other day, and it said Major League hitters hit about 340 when there are no strikes or 1 strike, and they hit just 190 with 2 strikes. So pitchers, once you get them to 2 strikes, you really should get that out very consistently. And even with the 3-2 pitch, the advantage stays with the pitcher. First pitch popped up into the air by Beck at the third base side. Plant hold under it and chasing it as it flows in the wind, coming down with it for the second out. Jay Leister is going to come up, the catcher. 2 outs, nobody on. Laszlo in his windup, ready to go. Fastball low and inside. It's taken for ball 1. Hard hit fastball past Heister in the hole at second base. No chance for Byron to make a play there. That was about 15 feet away and a hard hit. So a 2-out single for the catcher, and that's going to bring up Adam Carpenter, the third baseman. Carpenter, a .236 hitter, coming into today. Laswell set. Short lead for Leister. Laswell fires over anyway, and Leister has to dive back to close play. It was a short lead, and he didn't throw full speed, and it was still a close play.
Gives you an indication of how good Laswell's pickoff move is. We saw him pick off a whole bunch of guys this year.
Another pickoff throw. Leister's only about a step and a half away, so he's able to just kind of reach back and get to the bag.
With 2 outs, we should see Laswell focusing more on the hitter in this situation now.
He does sometimes go after runners who are obviously not going to steal.
Well, the catcher's on first base. I'm guessing he's not very fleet-footed.
Well, he has 2 stolen bases. You unfairly attacked the man. And whether those were catcher, fielder indifference, I do not know. Laswell misses with his first pitch, so count goes to 1-0. Comes back, a high chopper into the hole. DeTorre's going to run it down, but have no play as he runs it down in the shallow outfield grass. So a 2-out infield single for Carpenter gets Randolph Macon around to the top of the order. 12 hits in less than 2 innings for these 2 teams. 8 for the Generals, now 4 on the part of the Yellow Jackets. James Bierlein is up. He doubled in the first. That's a right field, I believe. Opposite field double for the righty Bierlein. Foul this one straight back. A fastball from Laswell. I'm going to go and fetch the ball. Will the on-deck hitter Davis as it rolls back behind the umpire. Laswell working with 2 out, 2 on, and a 4-2 lead. The 1 pitch. Sliced foul down the right field side, out of play towards our car. Worrisome. 4 years and we haven't been hit yet, so let's knock on wood for that. Knock on wood, I tell you. All right, you're not going to do it. Laswell 0-2, trying to get out of this inning unscathed. Mr. Bierlein, foul down the right field side again, out of play. Interesting, Laswell choosing not to waste a pitch there, just going right at him. Short lead for the catcher, Leister, at second. And for Carpenter at first, a little bit bigger one. Swung on and missed a high fastball. Nice pitch by Greg Glaswell to get James Bierlein and get out of the inning. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left on base. You're listening to Generals Baseball on WLUR 91.5. We'll be back to City Stadium in 30 seconds.
What would happen if you didn't follow the established path? Would you feel scared or proud? Could you explain that helping the people of Peru improve their own community would also have an effect on your own? Would you rather make your own way or spend a lifetime saying, what if? Life is calling. How far will you go? Peace Corps. To find out more, call 1-800-424-8580 or go to peacecorps.gov.
Top of the third, Washington and Lee leading 4-2 after a nice job by Greg Laswell to work around a couple 2-out hits and get out of the inning without any runs scored. And as we said, it's also a pitcher's best friend when your own team is getting 4 hits an inning. So how much longer does Breitmeyer get for Randolph-Macon?
Well, you have to give him this one inning. If he gets, if we jump on him this inning, I wouldn't expect him to last much longer. We have the Submariner, number 32.
That is Hale Litton, a junior from Mechanicsville out there. He's been up there for about an inning. Litton is 6'5", right-handed Submariner. That's going to be harder to hit, I think, if he can control that.
We'll give the WNL batters a much different look than the left-handed over-the-top pitcher we're seeing right now.
Breitmeyer, decent curveball. Fastball is pretty straight and average speed. And that's what he'll use to Byron Peister for the first pitch, but missing outside. 87 degrees, wind dying down a little bit now. Flag limp in center. Another fastball, this time low, but over the outside corner. It's called for ball 2. It's about Byron Shins. So the 2-0. Another fastball in the dirt. 3 balls, no strikes. Peister singled his first time up. His 3-0 pitch, taking all the way, strike called outside corner. Byron thought it might be ball 4.
Looked close.
Was close. 3-1 pitch. Hammered into right field. Tracking back is Conway. He's not going to get there. It's going to be off the warning track. And Peister chugging into second base with a sliding double. That bounced right in front of the wall. Byron just tagged that, and you could tell Conway just turned and started sprinting.
If the pitcher's best friend is your team getting 4 hits an inning, pitcher's worst enemy is the leadoff double.
And I think that's the second time we've had a double out there for the Generals. McKelvey also put one there. And now Anthony Cardona to the plate. He singled and drove in a run in the first inning. And we're going to get a quick visit.
That's it for Breitmeyer.
You think it is?
Second mound trip by the coach. They're bringing in Lighton.
Yep. Breitmeyer's having the ball taken from him. He only lasts 2 innings. The Generals have a man on base, no outs. And the second, why don't we take 90 seconds and come back to City Stadium with the numbers for Hale Litton and with Breitmeyer's partial line.
Doc, remember me?
Not now, Trig. Hi, I'm Dr. Donica Moore. You've heard about good and bad cholesterol, but how about triglycerides?
Keep me under 150.
Normal triglycerides are under 150. High triglycerides increase risk of heart disease. For women, that risk goes up even more.
150.
The forgotten fat triglyceride needs attention. So please ask your doctor about the forgotten fat triglycerides. For more information, go to forgottenfat.com. A message from Sister to Sister, working together for healthy hearts.
Hey. Oh, hey, Deb. I thought you were the radon test guys.
The who test guys?
Didn't you see the papers Sunday? The Surgeon General issued another lung cancer warning.
Oh, like the cigarette warning?
Yeah. They're saying we have to get our houses tested for radon.
I don't smell any radon in my house.
That's because radon is an odorless, colorless, tasteless gas that seeps into your house from underground.
Does this story have a happy ending?
Yeah. You'll be a lot happier once you get your house tested.
Learn more. Visit the EPA at epa.gov/radon. That's epa.gov/radon.
I thought indoor tanning was safe.
They say their tanning rays were less likely to cause a sunburn.
What you need to know is that they can be worse, because the lamps can emit more ultraviolet radiation than the sun,
up to 15 times more.
Hello? Not only can UV rays cause skin cancer,
but they can cause ugly, wrinkly skin and age spots. And more than 10,000 people will die from skin cancer each year. You don't want to be one of them.
Be safe. Don't go there. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology. For more information, visit aad.org.
Well, Breitmeyer is done. Hale Litton, the junior, 6'5", 220, is in. A submariner. He'll face Anthony Cardona. His first pitch, fastball low and inside, ball one. So Breitmeyer goes 2 innings, faces one batter in the third, gives up 9 hits. He doesn't walk anyone, doesn't strike anyone. He walks one, strikes out none, and he's responsible for Byron Peister at second. A 1-0 pitch, fouled hard into the stands just past the Randolph-Macon dugout on the third base side.
It's going to be a long day for Litton if he keeps putting his fastball in the inside corner.
1-1 count, no out. Peister at second. It's Cardona, hits him. Fastball stayed inside and didn't move.
Well, that's often the miss for somebody throwing with that arm slot. It's difficult to come across your body and nip the outside corner. Much more command and dominance of the inside corner. Your fastball is going to be dropping a lot.
So now that brings up Jim Plantholt, who singled his last time up, has now got hits in 4 straight at bats after having a real rough go of it. He's going to show bunt, drops down a nice bunt down the third base line, but foul. Your stick, I think that's an interesting decision. I guess you're only up 4-2 even though you've had all these hits. You want to make sure you can get a couple runs. But Plantholt's hitting the ball better than Deason at the time right now. It'll be interesting to see what...
I think the bunt or the hit and run is a good call in this situation. Yeah, Byron Peister on second, who's fast, and Cardona on first base, who also is pretty speedy.
All right, Plantholt getting ready to 0-1 pitch, squares to bunt again. This time drops it down on the line. Again, foul, though. Trying to place it perfectly, almost like he's bunting for a hit, but that's not what Stick's wanting him to do here.
You can't get greedy in that situation. You got to sacrifice yourself. Put the ball down on the grass, not down the line.
Indeed, that is why they call it sacrifice bunt. So now Jimmy down 0-2.
Stick does not look happy in the third base box.
Nothing makes him angrier than a missed bunt.
Well, it's just the fundamentals of baseball.
Actually, getting a guy picked off or base running errors make him throw things. Here he just stomps around the third base coach box.
Looking dejected.
Looking dejected indeed. The 0-2 to Plantholt as Litton checks the runners. Now to the plate. Plantholt, high fly ball down the left field line, heading foul, and out in the left field corner is the only place they don't have space. That just clears the whole fence and the whole ballpark and is gone.
Cleared the foul pole. That was a 370-foot foul ball.
Yes, we should note a foul ball. 370 feet, but nothing to show for it.
Looked like he threw him a changeup or a slider that just hung on the inside corner.
Yeah, Jim turned on it real strong.
Oh, yeah.
If he straightens another one of those out,
absolutely,
we'll have our first home run of the weekend. And fouls one off, a high inside fastball. Nice defensive hitting there. Just able to get enough to foul it back to the screen. So 0-2 again. Plantholt playing defense after failing to get down the sacrifice bunt. Seeing if he can put one into play. Litton to the plate. Outside to the screen. Runners will advance. So sacrifice bunt is no longer necessary. There's a wild pitch.
And we save an out.
And the Generals saving out. And now 2 guys in scoring position if Jim Plantholt can do a little 2-strike hitting. We talked about this. The Generals have a very strong offense already, scoring about 7 runs a game this season. But if Jim hits on a solid basis, they, become an even scarier offense.
Absolutely.
1-2. Plantholt's going to ground ball to second base. He'll be thrown out at first, but drives in the run. So nice little pitch. Fastball on the outside corner. Couldn't do anything with it. Just lays down and ground ball to second.
It was
the RBI.
It was a hard-hit ground ball. In that situation with runners from second and third, you're taught to try and hit the ball to the right side of the infield. because even if you do get out, the runner on third is allowed to score. Surprisingly, Cardona held up on second, but that's okay.
So Cardona at second. Peister goes ahead and scores to make it 5-2 for Washington and Lee. And Drew Deason comes up. He chops back to the pitcher in the first, and that was what let Breitmeyer escape with only 3 runs scored against him that inning. Pitched by Litton, popped up in shallow left. Going out is Davis and in is Wallace. Wallace makes the grab almost on the edge of the infield for the second out. Deason, an experienced sophomore, chasing the first pitch there. I may have wanted to wait and look at a few more pitches here.
That wasn't a great pitch to hit. It was high and outside, and he just pulled it. He didn't go the opposite field.
He lunged and pulled it up into the air. So now C.J. Thompson to the plate. Had an infield single to lead off the second. 2 outs, man on second base. Thompson watches the pitch outside for ball 1. A little slider there. Pretty nice looking pitch, actually. Just missed the zone. Fastball chops hard to short, scooped up by Davis, fires to first, and they're able to retire Thompson. But the Generals score for the third inning in a row. They get 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. After 2.5 innings, Washington and Lee leads 5-2. We're back to City Stadium after this 30-second timeout.
Global warming is here. The effects may seem slight now, but in a few decades, they could be massive.
Heat waves, floods, and food shortages. What can we do? We can join together, because when many unite as one,
we can achieve anything.
Together, we're powerful. Find out how we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
And we head to the bottom of the third. Greg Laswell back out there for the Generals. Gave up 2 in the first, though only one of those runs was earned. And we will see what he does. He looks pretty good in the second. Gave up infield singles to the 8 and 9 hitters, but rallied to strike out Bierlein, the leadoff hitter, to get out of the inning with no runs scored. It's going to be 2, 3, and 4. Davis, Molesky, and Hart for Randolph-Macon here in the third. Here's a classic late tournament game. Lots of runs early. Teams are going to have to scramble pitching. And if, a team that can get a good effort from a third starter, gets 5-6 innings is almost always going to win in these types of games.
Well, that would be huge for either team. Well, not anymore for Randolph-Macon, but it'd be huge for W&L if they can get 5 or 6 out of Laswell.
Laswell set, ready to go. Davis going to take his time digging in. Curveball from Laswell stays a bit high. Ball 1. Had some nice break on it, but didn't break quite far enough or early enough. The 1-0 fastball misses. Oh, got the outside corner. There's that generous corner.
That was a wide call again.
That's been consistent both ways, so you can't really complain. And that has been. I know they've made that a point of emphasis all season across the league. 1-1 pitch. Fastball this time at the knees and down the middle.
Well, if each team is aware of it, then it's absolutely fair.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it's unfair. It is. Every once in a while you get one really wide, but most of them, I'm all for it. If it's even close to catching the black or breathes on the black as it goes by, it's a strike in this league right now. 1-2 from Laswell to Davis. Punch him out. Fastball in the outside corner. And Greg Laswell has a second strikeout of the game and second in a row.
And Davis shares some words with the umpire after that. Coach comes down, has a little discussion with the umpire. Umpire's probably saying that kid needs a bit of an attitude adjustment. Davis had him the previous pitch stepping completely out of the catcher's home plate circle.
I think that's one of those.
Umpire repeatedly asked him to step into the box, and he took his time. So that might have been a little slight of a payback call.
Molesky takes a strike on the inside corner. And Randolph-Macon frustrated with his own, but I'm not seeing anything different from the first 2 innings.
Absolutely not.
The 0-1 from Laswell. This time misses just outside. I think the rundown by Ray Hedrick might have been a defensive move to, make sure the umpire couldn't listen to his player as buttering on his way back. So a smart move by the coach there. Just goes in and says, "Hi, how are you?"
Distract the umpire a little bit.
Fly ball into left center, tracking back and making the catch is Thompson. for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up Charlie Hart. He hit into the 5-4-3 double play in the first inning. And it helped Greg Laswell get out of some early trouble.
And like you were saying, the strike zone today is wide, but it has been fair and consistent. It's just that Greg Laswell is taking advantage of it more than the Randolph-Macon pitchers are.
Strike on the outside corner with a fastball to Hart. Righty-righty matchup here. Laswell into the windup. Swing and miss, high outside fastball, so now 0-2 to Hart.
Seems like Laswell has found the stuff that we saw from him early on in the season.
Yeah,
absolutely mowing through the heart of the Randolph-Macon order.
0-2. Fastball.
Oh, that was close.
Just misses inside.
That was close. And umpire goes and looks at Laswell and holds up his finger saying it missed by about 2 inches.
Yeah, that was nice of the umpire to give the heads up because I thought that was in there. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off down the right field side. So good eye by Hart to lay off that pitch.
Absolutely, that's a tough pitch to lay off.
That would have probably been a strikeout swinging if he goes for it. A 1-2, fastball, chopped foul down the third base side towards the Macon dugout.
Seems to be the same pitch, just he put a swing on it this time. That down and in fastball.
A very defensive swing, not really trying to do anything other than fight it off. 1-2 again. Fastball just missing outside.
Laswell skipping off the mound there. He thought he nipped the corner on that one.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nobody on for Charlie Hart. Laswell's pitch. Back up the middle. Peister's going to get it near the bag. And firing the first in plenty of time. A 1-2-3 inning for Greg Laswell. And after 3, the Generals hold a 5-2 lead. Let's take 30 seconds and be back to City Stadium after this.
What if you didn't care about being on the fast track? Instead of flying to the big interview, what if you flew somewhere else altogether? Like a village in Botswana or a tiny island in the Pacific where needs are easy to see? What if you decided to share your skills with others and help someone else get ahead? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go? To find out more, call 800-424-8580 or visit peacecorps.gov.
I think the question here at City Stadium is, where's that Greg Laswell been all year?
Well, it doesn't really matter that question. I'm just glad he showed up today. He's pitching beautifully. Working quickly, staying in his rhythm, pounding the inside corner, and coming back outside. He's got great command of his fastball, and he's throwing his breaking stuff well. He's really messing with the hitter's eye levels, timing, everything.
Even when he misses with the fastball, he's missing where he wants to miss.
Exactly.
You saw in the 1-2 pitch to Hart there, he wanted to hit the black on the outside corner or miss outside.
He's missing low and in, low and away. You can't get punished on those misses.
So we'll hope that continues. That was the first 1-2-3 inning by either team, as the Generals have scored in each inning. Randolph-Macon got a pair in the first, but has nothing out of the last 2. Top of the order for Washington Lee to face Lytton. Will be McKelvey, DeTore, and Lewis. Lefty-righty matchup as Terrence digs in. He jots the first pitch right at Lytton and thrown out. Bad swing by Terrence.
Would have liked to see Terrence take a pitch or two. It's his first time seeing Lytton. It's a different arm slot.
Terrence
he is an aggressive hitter.
Yeah, that's what he's made his money on, being aggressive, and sometimes it works great, sometimes it backfires. So 1 out on 1 pitch. Torrey digs in, takes the ball low and away. He's 1 for 1, also had a sacrifice bunt. His single scored a run in the second inning. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball outside corner at the knees, strike 1. One from Lytton. Leaves it up over the middle. DeTore hits it towards second. Nice sliding stop by Molesky and fires to first in time. Good job by Molesky to go over into the hole. Will Lewis now up. On the day, he has popped out and singled.
He's trying to redeem himself after that missed hit and run. Botched hit and run, rather.
Yeah, that turned into a double play. Watches the fastball, strike one on the outside corner.
That might be the best pitch he's going to see to hit. That was a beautiful fastball, mid-thighs, middle of the way. Probably won't see that pitch again.
The 0-1. Fastball this time further outside, misses for ball one. Linton set and delivers. Comes inside, misses with a fastball, ball two. That's a dangerous spot to aim for, because if he misses over the plate, Lewis is going to turn on that ball and put it in the right field corner. 2-1. Lewis hammers one foul down the left field line. Looking out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. Linton seeing if he can come up with the first 1-2-3 inning against Washington Lee so far today for Randolph-Macon. Misses outside into the right-handed batter's box, ball 3. We'll have a payoff pitch here. Lewis kind of loops one towards short, backpedaling and making the grab on the soft liner is Davis. And so a 1-2-3 inning back at Washington Lee. After 3.5, Generals lead 5-2 back in 30 seconds.
It's important to make sure your family has a plan in case of an emergency. We talked to this family to see if each of them knew where to meet if they were not together when something happened.
If a natural disaster happened and we were outside the home, we would all meet at the park. That's our meeting point.
I'm meeting place at our neighbor's house because she is my mom's good friend. We all have a meeting spot, which is a bus stop.
Is your plan any better? To learn more about making an emergency plan for your family, go to ready.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the Ad Council.
Greg Laswell back out for the 4th, and we'll hope he has the same stuff he flashed in the 3rd. If so, maybe he can make this 5-2 lead stand up for Washington Lee and help them advance to the nightcap. A 7 o'clock game against Hampton-Sydney. Virginia Wesleyan and Bridgewater play after this contest is over. The winner of that game advances on to Sunday, I believe. Yeah, well, they must advance to Sunday. So the way this thing breaks down, the winner of this game goes on to Sunday. I'm sorry, the winner of the 3 o'clock game goes on to Sunday. That's Bridgewater or Hampton-Sydney. The loser of this game goes home. The winner of this game plays tonight against Hampton-Sydney. The winner of that game will then play either Bridgewater or Wesleyan. It's complicated, I realize. It is a 16 double elimination style tournament. About 6 different scenarios can happen as we go along through the week. The only team eliminated so far is the number 1 seed Lynchburg. They were beat by the Generals on day 1 and then beat by the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan on day 2. First pitch swinging, popped up by Michael Wallace. John DeTore circling under it in shallow left. 1 pitch, 1 out. Big part of that was, that was Wallace popping out and bringing up J.C. Conway. What are your thoughts on that first pitch swinging? I mean, you've seen Laswell, so I guess you don't need to take too many pitches, but...
Well, when you're down by 3 runs, it's always nice to just take a pitch. The Generals typically do take 2 to get a strike, especially when you're down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things that, hitters do hit better than you expect on the first pitch. You can get a home run, swing and a miss on the 1-0 pitch. You can maybe get the pitcher trying to get ahead and just trying to put a fastball over. You might get your best pitch to hit that count. Swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt off speed, so 1-2 to Conway. But then again, if you chase something bad and you end up just hitting a weak one.
I think that's what you try to avoid with that philosophy.
1-2 pitch. Got him looking on the outside corner, an off-speed pitch by Greg Laswell. Conway very slow to leave the box.
He did not think he got struck out on that pitch, but yeah, he did.
Like we said, that's no different than several other strikes we've seen on the outside corner. As lefty Jeff Beck digs in, he popped out to third. It's just one of those things, when you're struggling at the plate, that becomes an excuse. Curveball gets the outside corner for strike 1. Timeout called by Beck. He steps out right before Laswell goes into the delivery, see if he can disrupt his timing. It's a good idea when you're a hitter and you've got Laswell mowing everyone down. The 0-1. Laswell throws him at his chin. That was not on accident.
Number 11 stared back at Laswell, may have exchanged some words. Umpire now patting him on the butt saying, hey, boy, calm down.
Well, Laswell, Beck stepped out at the last acceptable instant, and Laswell just put one under his chin to say hi. Now he comes back with a fastball, beautifully placed on the outside corner.
That was a perfect setup pitch, that fastball inside, little change-up low and away.
Laswell was mostly setting up Beck's chin to make sure it stays out of the way. 1-2 pitch, fastball. That one did actually get away from Laswell high and inside.
It's not a bad spot to miss, though. It changes the batter's eye level. Now you can come back hard and inside or soft and away. 2-2. He goes hard and inside, strikeout looking. Greg Laswell is dealing right now and has another 1-2-3 inning to show for it, and also has sent a message that he is in control on the mound. After 4, Washington leads 5-2. Let's take 30 seconds. You're listening to Generals Baseball on WLUR 91.5.
I couldn't even imagine myself without a cigarette. I was like up to 2 packs a day. 1-800-QUIT now. I just decided to call and see what it was about and see how they could help. They're there for you. I got stressed out and I picked up a cigarette, so I called the counselor and they told me that, it happens. Sometimes it takes a few tries. Nobody's perfect. Even if you quit, they're still there if you need them. If you're really serious about quitting, call.
Call 1-800-QUIT now, a public service of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and this station.
Well, Greg Laswell struck out 2 guys looking there and got an out from Wallace. How many pitches did he throw that inning? About 10 tops?
Oh, I stopped keeping track. I was too excited. He did not throw more than 10 pitches.
That's another good thing. And the other thing I like to see is this reminds me of a case when Zach Greinke for the Royals was pitching, had great control all day, and then he just threw one right underneath someone's chin, and he planted one right in someone's back after one of the Royals guys had been hit, and the reporters asked him if he beat the guy on purpose. He says, oh, no, my fastball just got away from me. I think that's what Greg Laswell would tell you if anyone asked, Greg, what happened there on that 0-1 pitch? Oh, yeah, it just got away from him. Coincidentally, it got away right after Beck stepped out on him right before he could go into his windup. Not many pitchers are willing to do that anymore. I like to see it.
Well, it's great that he did that, but what's better is that he came back with an off-speed pitch on the outside corner and got the strike after it. He's saying, you know what, I am in control. I'll mess with you as much as I want. You got nothing to do about it.
Hunter Sarenbetz watches an off-speed pitch in the dirt for ball 1. It's going to be Sarenbetz, Peister, Cardona for the Generals. He's lit and settled in and got a 1-2-3 inning in the 4th. Sarenbetz swings and misses at another slider, low and away for strike 1. One and one to the first baseman from Connecticut. Watches the slider inside corner for strike 2. Sarenbetz, 22 strikeouts on the year to 7 walks. Kind of your proverbial four-hitter. The ball misses fastball away. Make it 2-2. And he fouls off a fastball on the outside corner. Fouls it straight back. A little poke to stay alive.
It's good defensive hitting. That pitch may have been a strike, may not have been. A little bit too much outside, but why not?
And they hit him. Fastball tails in and gets him on the elbow. So Hunter Sarenbetz gets on base. That's another hit by a pitch, the second of the game for Litton. And he's now hit a lefty and a righty, which is interesting.
Well, that's the problem when you throw him from that low sidearm submarine arm angle. It's real nasty, but it's a lot more difficult to control. Your timing has to be perfect.
Now Peister watches a fastball inside corner, strike 1. Byron on the day is 2 for 2 at the plate. Is he going to step out and call time right before Litton can go into his windup? Actually, I should say into his move. He's pitching out of the stretch here with Sarenbetz on first. Pitch inside, just misses. So ball 1 called. One and one. And fastball stays high. Ball 2. For the most part, Litton as well as Brightmeyer, has struggled to throw strikes early in the counts and given the Generals some really nice counts to hit with. 2-1 here. Peister chops this one to short. Taylor made double play. 6-4, but he beats it out on the 4-3 relay. Nice hustle by Byron, and I think Davis at short was just a little too casual getting it started. Didn't move quite fast enough.
I think he underestimated Byron's speed on that play. Byron hustling down the line, as always.
So the Generals able to stay out of the double play and move things to Cardona, who has singled and was hit by a pitch. Everyone but Drew Deason has been on base so far for the Generals today. As Cardona watches a fastball under his arms for strike one. A lefty up in the bullpen for Bridgewater, or for Randolph Macon. We'll try to get you that number in a second. As an inside pitch, Cardona jumps out of the way.
That might be the senior Will Smith from Richmond, Virginia.
Tough to read the numbers out there. It's yellow on black, but the numbers aren't filled in, so it's just tracing. So it's either Smith or it's...
Pretty sure it's Smith.
Yeah. Cardona chops one foul down the line. I believe you are right. Could be Matt Tiller, number 39, but otherwise it's Smith.
Matt Tiller throws right-handed, though.
Yep, there we go. You're good at this process of elimination thing. So a 1-2 count to Cardona. Fastball way outside. Nice job by Lichter to get out there and snag it. Count even at 2-2. Peister at first. One away. Cardona hammers into left field. Let's see if it stays fair. It's down in the corner. Peister heading for third, where he will hold up. And Anthony Cardona just clubbed that ball as hard as he can into the left field corner for a double.
He really turned on that pitch. Litton left the fastball in the inside corner, as he's been doing, and Cardona was ready for it and just turned on it, roped one into the warning track.
So now men on second and third for Jim Plantholt. He's 1 for 2 with a single and an RBI ground out.
Jimmy's been swinging a hot bat these past few days, so another great RBI situation for him with runners on second and third.
In this situation, he didn't get the sac bunt down when it was first and second, then got an RBI ground out as he watches a strike, same spot that Cardona just clubbed one, inside corner.
And that seems to be Lighton's miss. He's got to be ready for that pitch.
0-1, Plantholt ground ball to short. Runners both hold, and the throw to first by Davis in time. Peister could have scored on that, but didn't get a good jump on it.
That was good base running. The shortstop was playing up. He fielded the ball and took a strong look at Byron.
So unable to get the runner in. Now second and third, 2 outs for Washington Lee. Drew Deason at the plate. Laswell is pitching very well, but we would never quibble with bringing a couple more runs home here. The game is early. Not even at the halfway point. Nice fastball on the outside corner to Deason for strike one.
Deason in his first at-bat grounded into a double play with the bases loaded, 1-2-3, and in the third inning flew out to the left fielder.
0-1 from Litton. Deason rips it into left for a single. 1 run will score. Sickley is going to hold up Cardona at third as a nice job by Wallace to come up firing. Deason, after struggling at the plate yesterday and earlier today, has now become the 9th general to reach base and has stretched the lead out to 6-2 with that RBI single. Now C.J. Thompson to the plate, has an infield single and a run scored, also grounded out to shortstop. Some of the coaches and fans and players from Hampton-Sydney sitting down here, keeping an eye on things as they've got all day to kill. Want to see who they'll play in the nightcap, and we're going to see a visit to the mound. This may do it for Litton. Not sure yet. It would be Will Smith coming in, senior outfielder and pitcher from Douglas Freeman High School, west end of Richmond.
Be an interesting time to switch pitchers with the right-handed hitting Cardona up.
It's Thompson.
I'm sorry.
Especially, he's a number 9 hitter, and he's 1 for 2. Hasn't put the ball out of the infield yet, though.
And your only pitcher warming up is left-handed, and they are bringing him in, number 30, Will Smith.
All right, we're going to take 60 seconds, and we'll be back to City Stadium, where the Generals lead 6-2 and have 2 men aboard with 2 outs in the top of the 5th.
Concentrate, Ben. Yes, that's good.
The odds of a child becoming a professional golfer, 1 in 140,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 150. Here are some of the signs. No big smiles or other joyful expressions by 6 months, no back and forth sharing of sounds or facial expressions by 9 months, and no babbling by 12 months. To learn more of the signs, visit autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
I don't need to start saving. I'm years from retirement.
Floods don't happen here.
This chest pain is just a little indigestion.
This isn't a flood zone, right?
People have an amazing ability to deny obvious risks, like flooding. Yet floods happen in all 50 states. Fortunately, it's easy to find out your risk. Just visit floodsmart.gov or call 1-888-RAIN-022. Brought to you by the National Flood Insurance Program.
All right, back to City Stadium, and warming up is Will Smith, the senior lefty from Richmond, Virginia. Line for Litton. He goes 2 2/3. He let an inherited runner score, but is only charged with 1 run of his own. He's also responsible for the 2 guys still on base. He gives up 3 hits 2 batters, no walks or strikeouts. And so Smith will face Thompson, the number 9 hitter for Washington Lee. And Terrence McKelvey on deck. Cardona on third, Deason at first, as Thompson comes to the plate. They're going to say it's Brian Jordan.
Brian Jordan?
He's listed as a righty, but it is Brian Jordan, apparently, not Will Smith. He's listed as a guy who bats left, throws right. And so we stand corrected. That's Brian Jordan out there. His first pitch to Thompson, fastball in the outside corner.
Brian Jordan isn't even listed as being a pitcher. He is an outfielder.
Strange things happen when you get to this point of the season, I guess.
Well, it is the playoffs.
So maybe they think Brian Jordan has a chance to get some outs. Maybe he's the only option they have left. I'm not sure. But he starts Thompson off with a strike. Now Thompson fouls one off the picnic area and the stands on the right side, and is behind 0-2. Warm, sunny day out here, partly cloudy. Excuse me.
Just a slight breeze blowing out to center field.
Yeah, hasn't really been in play too much. Hasn't been a major factor. 0-2 to Thompson. High fastball outside for ball 1. The 1-2. Jordan getting set. Checking the runners. And down to the plate. Swung on and missed. Struck out Thompson. So Brian Jordan able to stop the bleeding and hold the Generals to 1 run. Washington Lee 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We're halfway through this ball game, and the Generals lead 6-2. Let's take 60 seconds and then come back to City Stadium in Lynchburg.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
At the football game, Jim shows the telltale signs of being wasted. He starts flexing for the camera. He refers to his muscles as gunboats. He screams, "How's this for a halftime show?" Jim streaks the field.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many to drive.
But what if you've had just one too many to drive? Never underestimate just a few. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
Jacob Geiger and Chris Bolger heading to the bottom of the fifth. Washington Lee ahead 6-2 at City Stadium against Randolph-Macon. Greg Laswell back out there, facing 8-9-1, and the catcher Jay Leister pops up his first pitch. Out of play. For strike one. Laswell has been very sharp. 4 strikeouts in the last 3 innings. 3 of those have been looking. Now a pitch a bit low on the fastball, but over the plate, so ball 1. It comes back to the same spot, a little bit higher, strike 2.
Looks like a breaking ball just snipped the corner there.
Now 1-2 to Leister. Ripped hard into the hole between short and third for a single. That breaks Laswell's streak of 7 straight retired. And Leister's 2 for 2. That comes Adam Carpenter, the 9-hitter and third baseman. He has singled his first time up. A 236 hitter. But if he can get on base, Macon might be able to start some sort of rally. The Generals win. They play at 7 p.m. tonight. That would be on Stretch Internet. A special presentation by WLUR. Strike 1 taken by Carpenter. We'll get you all the details of how you can access that game, but the best way is to go to our website, wlur.wlu.edu. But a long way to go before we can think about that as Laswell misses outside for ball 1 on a curveball. All right. Laswell set and fires to first. Back in time is Leister. What is he picking on the catcher? The guy's not stealing. Maybe he wants to stop a hit and run?
The second time they've done that in this game. He's got a 2-step lead. It's not much over there.
To the plate. Fastball high. 2-1.
Randolph-Macon not known for their base-stealing abilities. Wallace is the leader with 5 on the season.
Runners going, though, so a hit and run was in effect and fouled away on the right field side. As Leister was starting from about 2 steps off the bag, so clearly a hit and run.
Well, it's a good hit and run count, 2-2. Would not be surprised to see them do that again.
Digging in and waiting for the pitch is Carpenter. Laswell set to the plate. No runner going. Fouled off again. Nice back control by Carpenter. Unable to do anything with these pitches, but just knocking away and trying to run up Laswell's pitch count a little bit. Laswell set and delivers. Fouled off again. Down the right field line again by Carpenter.
Carpenter just keeps chopping at these pitches, not doing a whole lot with them.
When you change it up, hit a different spot, do something.
Yeah, I'd bust him inside. That's what I'd do. But
yeah, maybe aim at that inside corner, see if you can jam him or just get him to swing and miss. Laswell and Lewis conversing over the sign. Laswell now set and ready.
Lewis steps up inside.
They're going to say Carpenter called time right as Laswell lifted his leg.
Laswell's not happy with that. That was a very late call. I'm surprised the umpire gave that to him. Yeah, Laswell was already in motion.
I wouldn't have given that if I were the ump.
Absolutely not.
Basically, it was a simultaneous with Laswell starting the motion. 2-2. Here's the pitch. Chopped fair down the third base line and into the corner. Just got inside the bag, and runners will head to second and third, but hold up there. So a double by the number 9 hitter Carpenter down the line. Second and third, nobody out here for Randolph-Macon. They're stirring against Greg Laswell. And I saw Brennan Clark just look at Jeff Stickley and do the should I warm up motion, and Stick said not yet.
Starting his stretching routine anyway.
Yeah, well, he'll be in. He's the guy I'm going to fall out of the booth if he doesn't come in if Laswell continues to struggle.
He absolutely should be the next one to throw. He's been the best pitcher by far this season.
The pitch to Bierlein. Curveball that stays high, ball 1. Clark doing his arm windmills and things like that, start loosening up. But it's Laswell's game for now. The 1-0 pitch. Curveball still high, and Lewis is going to head out, say a word to Laswell. Just go if he steps out, say something, toss the ball back. Randolph Macon up at the front. Now Clark heading for the bullpen. Hornets sensing blood in the water here. 2-0 pitch from Laswell. Fastball fouled off to the catcher's mask of Lewis. And back to the screen. Wonder how much of a leash Greg will have. He pitched very well in the second, third, and fourth, but struggling right now.
I'd say if he doesn't get an out in the next batter or two, you're going to see Brendan start warming up pretty quickly.
Curveball misses high, or ball 3.
Looks like Laswell's getting a little excited, trying to throw a bit too hard. His body's getting a bit ahead of his hands, and he's leaving his curveball up high.
The 3-1 pitch, men on second and third. Laswell to Bierlein. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. Oh, I'm not sure what that was exactly. Looks like a fastball they took a little bit off of.
On a 3-1 count. Just want to hit a spot. Make the batter swing at something. Number 33, Brendan Clark, now getting loose in the bullpen. He's starting to throw.
All right, the full count pitch to Bierlein. Swung on and missed. Inside corner.
Now, that was a foul tip. It hit right off the umpire's chest pad.
I saw it disappear and not come out. I thought that Lewis had hung on to it. But as you say, it went over his shoulder and off the chest pad, so we'll do it again. Ferocious cut by Bierlein.
It's a fantastic fastball by Laswell, though. Change in elevation, coming a little up and in. Put a little something extra on that one, it looked like.
So 3-2, we do it again. Laswell's pitch just misses inside, ball 4. Bases are loaded. So bases loaded, no outs. The shortstop, Kevin Davis, who's 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. Drove in a run in the first. Drove in Bierlein. And Jeff Stickley heading out. This is just going to be a conference as Clark is just getting warm.
He's taking his time walking out there, giving Brendan as much time as he needs to warm up. Probably just going to go out and talk to Laswell, just say, hey, boys, calm down. Try and get a ground ball, get 2 outs, work on from there.
In the first inning, the Generals traded a run for a double play. They would certainly be happy to do the same again here, up 4.
Absolutely.
Any day of the week, you will take that one up 4. Even up 2, you'll take it. Bottom of the 5th, Washington leading 6-2.
I think that was fantastic timing by Coach Stickley to come out and settle pitcher Greg Laswell down. Still working at a somewhat frantic pace, and when you get in a jam, it's nice to just step back, take a little breather, relax, get your focus back, which I think is what just happened.
We'll hope that is the case. That's kind of what's troubled Laswell is the big inning at times this year. Is he's been unable to get himself out of jams, something that comes with experience and more innings pitched. So we'll see a high-pressure situation here. Fly ball into shallow right, hooking foul, but just foul and out of reach of Saren Betts and Cardona. If that had dropped, it would have been a short double, and 2 would have scored.
But that was not a bad pitch by Laswell. He threw a fastball down and in, just kind of flared it into right field.
Bases loaded, no outs, 0-1 count to Kevin Davis. He's a .302 hitter on the year. Taking his time, Laswell getting the sign. Checking all the runners into the plate. Slides into the same spot in right, hooking foul in towards the Generals bullpen. Out of reach of Cardona, out of play again. So Laswell ahead in the count 0-2. And here's where you have to be careful. You can waste a pitch or two, but you also need to be careful you don't waste one so far away that it gets away from Lewis and you let it run in on a wild pitch.
Absolutely. Well, Lewis has the wall back there. I don't think we have anything to worry about.
This one low and away.
That's exactly what happened, but Lewis, of course, stopped it.
Very good defensive catcher.
Very good offensive catcher, too.
Especially one of the best offensive catchers you'll find in the league. So 1-2. Laswell checking the runners to the plate. Fly ball into center, right center. McKelvey, Cardona converging. Cardona will have it. Oh, he drops the ball. He just dropped it. It falls out of his glove, and everyone's safe. 1 run scores. Unbelievable. Second time in a row, a General has just dropped the ball. What are we playing with out there? Are we using frying pans or baseball gloves? I don't know what to say. Anthony Cardona dropped the ball.
That was pretty unbelievable. That's about as routine a fly ball as you're ever going to get.
And the same thing, he started to think about trying to make a throw into the infield, and
I think he just took his eyes off the ball at the last second, started focusing on the runner at third.
So
that does not help pitcher Greg Laswell out. Bases are still loaded, and we have no outs.
As first pitch now to Greg Molesky, the second baseman, misses for ball 1.
Molesky, a .282 hitter on the year. 11 doubles and 1 triple.
Curve ball misses outside. Ball 2. The lefty-righty matchup here is Molesky bats left, throws right. Nobody out, bases loaded. In the dirt, ball 3. So Laswell just has to throw a strike. 3-0 count here. Particularly coming to the top step of the dugout. This is Laswell's last batter unless a double play happens, I think.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Fastball, outside corner, strike 1. Kind of middle of the plate. Just putting it over there no matter what.
Down by 3, the hitter was taking that pitch all the way.
Oh, yeah. Molesky definitely taking. Laswell set. 3-1 pitch. Swung on, fouled over the Randolph Macon dugout, out of play.
Laswell fighting back. Counts now at 3-2. No outs. Bases loaded.
You get a fastball over the plate, get a ground ball. Might be able to salvage something here and escape with most of the lead intact. Fielding in the corners, back double play depth. They walked him. Fastball misses inside. So Laswell walks in a run. It's 6-4. Bases loaded, nobody out.
My question here is, will Stickley make another mound visit? Bring in Brendan Clark.
He's thinking about it. Laswell's looking at him. Lewis is looking at him. Stickley's looking around. Clark's looking around. Everyone's waiting to see what Stick's going to do. Come at Laswell face Charlie Hart. Leading home run hitter in the ODAC.
Pitch well against Hart, though. Grounded into a double play his first at-bat and a ground ball to second in his second at-bat.
Strike on the outside corner. Grumbling from the Randolph Macon fans. Not sure if you can hear it on the mic. None of that. All right, Hart fouls this fastball straight back into the screen.
I think they were arguing about the umpire's wide strike zone, saying that ball cannot be hit.
It can be hit.
Maybe just not by Hart.
Hart grounded out twice so far. Third ground out here would be huge. 0-2 count. Laswell, first count in a while. He's been ahead. Throws way outside. Lewis dives to catch that fastball before it sails to the screen and scores another run. One ball, 2 strikes. Laswell facing bases loaded, nobody out. 2 runs already in. 6-4 in favor of Washington Lee, though. And Hart jams, chops one foul down the first base line, and Lewis will grab it in foul territory.
A high inside fastball, just pulled his hands through and hit it just above the grip on the baseball bat.
Nice defensive move there.
Looks like Brendan Clark is ready. He's sitting down in the bullpen. Probably trying to conserve his arm.
If he comes in, he's going to have to go a ways. Try and get the Generals through this game and onto the nightcap. All right, 1-2 again to Hart. the first baseman and cleanup hitter for Macon. Pitch from Laswell, chopped high over Plant Holt's head. In the left, one run will score. They're waving home another one. Throw from Thompson to the plate. He is out! It's C.J. Thompson guns him down at the plate.
Fantastic throw by Thompson. The one hopper to Lewis, who blocked the plate. Tags him out. Umpire was right there, made a fantastic call.
So
had him by a good step and a half there. It was a beautiful throw.
A one-run single, and James Bierlein erased at the plate by a rope from Thompson to Lewis. Nice job by Hunter Sternbetz. He was about to cut it off, checked the play, and pulled himself off. Let it one hop straight to Lewis. So one out, men on first and second. As in comes Michael Wallace. First pitch to Laswell inside, ball one.
Third baseman Jim Van Holt was playing on the grass that play. Infield was up for the play at home plate, and the ball just chopped right over his head. Right as that was hit, Coach Jeff Stickley walked to the top of the dugout steps, looking like he was about to come out and pull Laswell. But then when they outed home plate, they're leading him in for the next batter.
This is inside, ball two. He's tiring now. You can just see he's not as sharp. Lead down to 6-5. The General's not out of the woods yet, certainly. Men on first and second, and Wallace here looking at a good count. He's 0-2. Gone to shortstop both times. Laswell misses way high, ball three. 3-0. Laswell hasn't been particularly close with any of these three. 3-0 pitch. This is low, ball four, and that does it for Greg Laswell. Here comes Jeff Stickley. It's 6-5, Washington lead, but one out, and the bases are loaded in the bottom of the fifth. So Randolph-Macon is trying to make this a whole new ball game or even take the lead. Brendan Clark is headed to the hill, the Generals' ace, trying to save their season in this ODAC elimination game. Let's take 60 seconds, and we'll be back after this.
What would happen if you didn't follow the established path? Would you feel scared or proud? Could you explain that helping the people of Peru improve their own community would also have an effect on your own? Would you rather make your own way or spend a lifetime saying, what if? Life is calling. How far will you go? Peace Corps. To find out more, call 1-800-424-8580 or go to peacecorps.gov.
Doc, remember me?
Not now, Trig. Hi, I'm Dr. Donica Moore. You've heard about good and bad cholesterol, but how about triglycerides?
Keep me under 150.
Normal triglycerides are under 150. High triglycerides increase risk of heart disease. For women, that risk goes up even more.
150.
The forgotten fat triglyceride needs attention. So please ask your doctor about the forgotten fat triglycerides. For more information, go to forgottenfat.com. A message from Sister to Sister, working together for healthy hearts.
Well, Greg Laswell goes 4 1/3 and gives up 5 runs so far, responsible for all 3 base runners at this point, though. Only a couple of those runs were earned, I believe. 2 of them were unearned, and 3 were earned. So he is done, and you can tell his final line just shows what happened there at the end. He had 7 hits and 4 strikeouts, 3 walks. All 4 strikeouts came before this inning. All 3 walks came in this inning. He just ran out of juice.
I just got tired. Legs start going out, leave your pitches up. A lot harder to hit your spots. You get hit a bit.
And unfortunately, that all happened. Started with the 8 and 9 hitters singling and doubling, and the trouble continued in the top of the lineup. So Brendan Clark will face J.C. Conway, who's 0 for 2. And Clark's numbers: he's got a 2.57 ERA in 42 innings pitched, 10 starts, 4 relief appearances, 3 saves. Opponents hitting .224 against him, 15 walks, 41 strikeouts. So he's the Generals' top pitcher. Usually their number 1 starter, been pitching in relief this week during the tournament because he had to throw just about every single day, it seems like, down the stretch in the regular season. The Generals fought for this number 6 seed. His first pitch in the dirt, almost a wild pitch. Nice job by Lewis to grab it. It's 6-5. Tying run at third base for Macon. Go ahead run at second.
Oh. Beautiful spot on the outside corner. Fastball for a strike.
1-1 the count now. It is Molesky at third, Hart at second, Wallace at first. Conway at the plate, 1-1 pitch. Hammered into center. McKelvey right there, though. That's going to tie the game. The throw will go to third. And coming in to score is Greg Molesky. It's a whole new ball game, 6-6. And then on first and second with 2 outs for Randolph Macon. All right, 9th batter of the inning is Jeff Beck. He's popped out and struck out. Now Clark just needs to do anything he can to get a strikeout or some sort of out. 2 outs here. This is away, ball 1. This game in Clark's hands as we start again, 6-6. Fastball misses just outside, ball 2. Clark, the righty. Facing the left-handed hitting Beck. Pitch from Brendan, misses outside, 3-0. This can be a problem for Brendan. Sometimes he does not locate his stuff very well right when he comes into a game.
It's not a huge issue with third base being open. You're not going to walk in and run.
Comes inside, and he does indeed walk Beck on 4 pitches. They've batted around, Randolph Macon has. And back comes the catcher. Jay Leister singled in the 5th, or in the start of this inning, I should say. Also singled in the 2nd. He came around to score the first run of the 4 Randolph Macon has plated so far in the 5th inning. 2 outs, bases loaded for Leister as he faces Clark. First pitch, low and inside, ball 1. 5 straight balls from Brendan. Said he's the guy you want on the hill in this situation. This is, actually gets the outside corner, a low strike. Make it 1-1.
I have confidence that Brendan will find his stuff. He has tremendous mound composure. Looks right now like he's throwing a bullpen. Just relaxed, not feeling the pressure.
This is a curveball high, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Bases loaded. Tie game. And Jay Leister, 262 hitter. Fly ball to right. Hard hit. Cardona tracking back. He may get there. Does as he falls on the track. Does he hang on? He does. Comes up with the ball, and Anthony Cardona.
Tremendous catch, diving on the warning track.
If that gets down, all 3 runs will score, and Randolph Macon is ahead 9-6. Instead, Cardona hangs on as he dives at the track, makes a phenomenal catch, but Randolph Macon sends 10 men to the plate, gets 4 runs on 3 walks and 3 hits. A key error by Cardona to help keep the inning going, but he does sort of redeem himself, and the Generals have a tie game with Randolph Macon after 5 innings. We're going to take 60 seconds and be back to City Stadium.
Hey.
Oh, hey, Deb. I thought you were the radon test guys.
The who test guys?
Didn't you see the papers Sunday? The Surgeon General issued another lung cancer warning.
Oh, like the cigarette warning?
Yeah. They're saying we have to get our houses tested for radon.
I don't smell any radon in my house.
That's because radon is an odorless, colorless, tasteless gas that seeps into your house from underground.
Does this story have a happy ending?
Yeah. You'll be a lot happier once you get your house tested.
Learn more. Visit the EPA at epa.gov/radon. That's epa.gov/radon.
I thought indoor tanning was safe.
They say their tanning rays were less likely to cause a sunburn.
What you need to know is that they can be worse, because the lamps can emit more ultraviolet radiation
than the sun, up to 15 times more.
Hello? Not only can UV rays cause skin cancer,
but they can cause ugly, wrinkly skin and age spots. And more than 10,000 people will die from skin cancer each year. You don't want to be one of them.
Be safe. Don't go there.
A message from the American Academy of Dermatology. For more information, visit aad.org.
All tied up in the top of the 6th, a brand new ball game, 6-6, top of the lineup for Washington Lee. Terrence McKelvey, John DeTore, Will Lewis, and the Generals have 6 runs on 10 hits. The bad news for them is they have left 8 men on base so far today, and suddenly they're missing a couple of those guys. Double plays have wiped out some runners in 2 innings. So basically a 4-inning mini game here, tied at 6. McKelvey swings at the first pitch, weak ground ball to second base, and fires to first. Second time in a row he's swung at the first pitch, and second time in a row he's hit a weak ground ball. So the top hitter for the Generals, 1 for 3 today, also has walked. Still on the mound is Brian Jordan for the Hornets, or the Yellow Jackets, I beg your pardon, one of those B teams. First pitch to Torrey from Jordan. Fastball called strike on the outside corner. Randolph-Macon got 4 in the 5th inning. Curveball misses inside to Torrey. And second day in a row, the Generals defense has sort of let them down. Anthony Cardona dropped a fly ball that would have been out number 1 of that inning. Basically, C.J. Thompson gunned down a runner at the plate. Detroit rips one hard but foul into the left field corner. That would have been the first out. But he dropped the fly ball while he was thinking about his throw back into the infield. Cardona did redeem himself, though, with that diving catch that saved 3 runs in the deep right field corner. So now 1-2 to Torrey. Lewis on deck. Torrey fouls this one off down the right field side. Out of play. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Outfield squared away and shallow. Infield regular depth. Torrey watches the ball just a bit low, but it was a beautiful pitch on the inside corner. And probably was very close to being punched out. 2-2. Torrey pops up. Foul territory in front of the Macon dugout. Charging over is the catcher, Leister, and it's off the top of the dugout. Leister was the one robbed of that big double by Cardona just a moment ago. So the Torrey survives to battle on at 2-2. A lefty on the mound. Switch hitter John Torrey at the plate, hitting from the right side, of course. Curveball throws him, but just misses high, so a full count for John. Did a nice job working the count. Temperature pushing 90 now here in Lynchburg. Ground ball straight back up. Jordan grabs it right before it hits him and is able to throw to first for the second out. John Torrey really hit that one hard, but right at Jordan. Stopped it mostly in self-defense, really. So Will Lewis to the plate. On the day, 1 for 3 with a pop-out and line out. This will give us a lefty-lefty matchup. Saw Chuck Davidson stretching between innings. He was the starter Thursday. Threw a gem, only threw 81 pitches, though. Strike 1 called to Lewis, a fastball inside. So if Clark struggles or if the Generals manage to win and play tonight, we'll see Davidson in some capacity, I have to think. It's kind of the things you have to do in the ODAC tournament. 0-1 to Lewis. Fastball outside corner, strike 2. For a guy who's not listed as a pitcher, Jordan is throwing very well.
He's got great arm action. He's spotting his fastball well, and he's got a lot of tail on his fastball.
So 0-2 now. So Lewis, that fastball started out over the middle, then tailed all the way to the outside corner. Just misses the outside corner of that one with the 0-2 fastball. Lewis probably lucky he was not punched out.
That one was pretty close.
For those of you I would have swung at just to protect myself. The 1-2 here. Fastball same spot. Lewis sends it in the left. It's going to drop for a hit in front of Wallace, the left fielder. That is the 11th hit of the day for Washington and Lee.
Just one shy of the number of hits they got in last night's game.
Generals piled up a ton of hits, but the thing that got them in trouble today in the 5th inning was walks and errors, and that's what killed them last night against Bridgewater. They were lucky to keep that 5th inning to 4 runs for the Yellow Jackets today. It was the same inning as last time, too.
Yeah, it was.
As Theron Betts watches a fastball for strike 1. Another switch hitter. He'll also be hitting right with the lefty on the hill. Curveball against the inside corner, strike 2. What is Hunter's natural side? I wonder.
I believe he's a natural lefty. But don't quote me on that.
He does throw left, so I think you might be right. Fast all the way outside, 1 and 2. So we got a lot of guys on both teams who bat left and throw right. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Lewis on first here in the top of the 6th. And Theron Betts calls time right as Jordan goes into his motion. He goes ahead and delivers the pitch.
Jordan was looking over at first base while the umpire called timeout.
That's what you're told to do. Just deliver the pitch. You're more likely to hurt yourself trying to stop. 1 and 2. Theron Betts fouls this one down the right field side, out of play. Fastball on the outside edge. With Jordan there.
That one might have been a bit off the plate, but Theron Betts doing a good job protecting himself. Got punched out looking a few times in last night's game.
1-2. Hit him in the back, curveball that curves too much. So a little 2-out rally for Washington and Lee. Byron Peister can try and give the Generals the lead again as they've got a man in scoring position. 3rd hit by pitch today for Washington and Lee. And a conference now between Leicester and his pitcher Jordan. And the guy's throwing well, then giving up a couple hits. What do you say to him in that spot?
You just tell him to calm down. He is throwing great. Just threw 1 bad pitch, really. Just trying to get him focusing in the same mindset that he was in last inning and earlier in this inning.
So Peister is a double and a single, also reached on a fielder's choice. Fake towards second, no throw by Jordan. Wonder if the Generals can get this lead back and win. They play again at 7 p.m. tonight. 0-2, or first pitch with 2 outs, curveball for strike 1. Jordan hasn't thrown the curveball much, but when he's thrown it, he's been locating it fairly well.
Except for the one he planted in Theron Betts' back.
There was that exception, of course. 6 runs on 11 hits for Washington and Lee. 6 runs on 7 hits for the home team, Randolph Macon. Another curveball, this time just low. That's a good spot to miss with that curveball. Even the count at 1-1. Byron's dad over there with the ever-present golden retriever.
With the WNL bandana, of course.
Of course. Foul ball down the right field side, out of play. Byron's dad sitting in the front row near the dugout. Mr. Peister, a senior from Washington, D.C. Younger Mr. Peister, I should say. Hitting .342 on the season. Alrighty, 1-2 pitch again. Fastball punched out looking.
Wow, that pitch was a good foot outside the corner, in the outside corner.
They've been calling the big ones outside, and Peister's caught looking on that one. A strikeout to end the inning for Jordan, and we head to the bottom of the 6th. It's still 6-6. We'll be back after a 60-second timeout on WLUR.
Global warming is here. The effects may seem slight now, but in a few decades, they could be massive.
Heat waves, floods, and food shortages. What can we do? We can join together. Because when many unite as one,
we can achieve anything.
Together, we're powerful. Find out how we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
What if you didn't care about being on the fast track? Instead of flying to the big interview, what if you flew somewhere else altogether? Like a village in Botswana or a tiny island in the Pacific where needs are easy to see. What if you decided to share your skills with others and help someone else get ahead? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go? To find out more, call 800-424-8580 or visit peacecorps.gov.
Bottom of the sixth, and the momentum seems to have shifted to the Yellow Jackets of Randolph-Macon, as they have come back from a 6-2 deficit. Washington lead has led the whole way, got up to a 3-0 lead in the top of the first, and until that 4-run fifth inning. What is it about the fifth inning today, this weekend for Washington lead? I don't know.
Well, I think that's just about the time the starting pitchers start to get a little tired. Latzo was pitching great, but had some high pitch counts early on. And, I don't know. It's at the end of the season. It's late. Arms get tired. Legs get tired. So fifth inning is just when you get jumped on.
First pitch to Carpenter, the number 9 hitter, inside for ball 1. Brendan Clark back out there. You got 2 outs in the fifth, coming on in relief. And strike one on the fastball called. Carpenter, 2 for 2. At least to the catcher ahead of him in the 8th spot, 2 for 3. So a lot of production from the bottom of the lineup for Randolph-Macon. Clark misses off speed away.
Clark normally has started this season, but we've seen him a lot in relief past week or so. He's probably more comfortable pitching in the situation now. Tie ball game, no one on base, gets to start an inning.
Fastball, outside corner, strike 2.
That looks very similar to where Byron just got punched out on.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Count. Clark delivers. Hard hit to right. Cardona tracking back and towards the line. Catches it on the run. A nice play by Anthony for the first out. 2 good plays in a row. So after he just dropped the routine fly ball earlier, he's making up for it in a big way. Can't have that drop back, so got to just go forward and do what you can.
I think he made up for that first drop fly ball with a catch to end last inning.
Yeah, that would have been
diving on the warning track, throwing himself nearly into the wall.
James Bierlein takes a fastball around the eyes for ball 1. One out from Clark. Fastball in or outside corner and low, strike 1. We're coming to you live from the home of the Lynchburg Hellcats. Since Clark's curveball gets the outside corner for strike 2. They're the high A minor league team for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who actually look decent this year, amazingly enough. Or at least have played well for the first 16 games. Punch him out on the curveball. Bierlein caught looking for the second time, or for the first time today, second strikeout overall. He just had no chance against Brendan's curveball there.
That was a beautiful curveball. Started just on the middle away. Let it nip the outside corner. Looked like he was expecting fastball and laid off that. Or just didn't think it was going to be a strike. Or whatever it was a great pitch by Brendan.
Yeah, really painting his spots well now.
Looking much more composed getting to start the inning.
2 outs, and Kevin Davis takes the ball, fastball. Davis singled, struck out, and has reached on an error. He was the man thrown out at home plate by C.J. Thompson as he tried to score. Clark misses wide out into the left-handed batter's box, so 2-0. Supposed to go out and say something to him. Step in front of the plate. Share a word. Bottom of the 6th here. This is basically Clark's game until he can't go anymore, since he gets a strike on the outside corner. He's fresh, only thrown 2 innings so far this weekend, or as fresh as anyone is, I would say.
I think we can expect if he doesn't get into much trouble, he'll be finishing out the game.
Swing and a miss for strike 2, an off-speed pitch in the dirt. Yeah, I think you're correct. He'll be out there until, literally we don't have much else out there in the bullpen right now. Running low. Jody Davis pitched well yesterday, but threw 4. This is the guy you want out there in this sort of situation. Tie game, elimination game. Last weekend of his career, unless the Generals win the tournament. A little curveball taps down the first base line.
Looks like Brendan's off-speed stuff was working well today. The curveball on that last pitch and the pitch before, a fantastic changeup down in the zone. That's a pitch that Brendan's worked on real hard ever since coming here first year.
The changeup?
The changeup. He kind of struggled with it at first, but by the end of his freshman and sophomore years, he had a really nasty changeup. It has a lot of late drop to it.
Fastball ripped into right with a hole between second and first. So after some effective changeup and curveball pitching, Clark comes back with the fastball, and Davis sends it out for a single. So Greg Molesky at the plate. Two outs, one man on. Clark to first. Back in time is Davis. Generals have 3 more trips to the plate after this inning. Throw to first again. Much closer play, but Davis barely back.
That one looked pretty good. Brendan, in addition to Greg Laswell, Brendan has an amazing pickoff move to first base. Oftentimes he'll come in relief and pick a guy or 2 off.
Well, it's 8 of 9 and stolen bases against him, but he's also done a pretty good job limiting the running game. Throw to first. Back in time is Davis. Clark's done 42 innings. 12 earned runs scored against him, 17 runs total. Aside from doing a good job just with overall batting average, only gave up 5 extra base hits in 42 innings, and that's a big number. And that's how you keep teams from piling up big numbers on you. Battling here with number 3 hitter Greg Molesky. First pitch coming. So he's been really battling with Davis over at first base. Fastball outside corner, strike 1. On deck is the big first baseman Charlie Hart, also a pitcher. Hart's 0-1. Fastball just a little too far outside this time, so that's ball 1. Very different speed when Brendan works. A little more methodical than Greg.
He's very deliberate.
Throw to first. Back in time is Davis. Davis on the year. No stolen bases. Macon runs even less than Washington Lee, if you can believe that. They only have, 12 stolen bases for the team in the starting lineup. Clark misses again with the ball off speed in the dirt. Leading base stealer is left fielder Michael Wallace. All right, so a favorable count for Molesky at the plate. Crowd knows this is a big stretch here. Let's see if Clark can get out of the jam. Throw to first. Back in time is Davis. I think at this point, Brendan just needs to get the batter.
Absolutely.
I mean, if they want to run a hit and run, let them do it.
Davis is fast, but he has no stolen base attempts on the year.
Strike called on the outside corner, off speed. That was a changeup, I think. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Clark set to the plate. Swung on and missed on the outside corner. Brennan gets around the 2-out single. Strikes out a pair of batters in the 6th. And after 6, we are still tied at 6. You're listening to Generals Baseball on WLUR 91.5. Let's take 60 seconds and be back to City Stadium after this.
It's important to make sure your family has a plan in case of an emergency. We talked to this family to see if each of them knew where to meet if they were not together when something happened.
If a natural disaster happened and we were outside the home, we would all meet at the park. That's our meeting point.
I'm meeting place at our neighbor's house because she is my mom's good friend.
We all have a meeting spot, which is a bus stop.
Is your plan any better? To learn more about making an emergency plan for your family, go to ready.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the Ad Council.
I couldn't even imagine myself without a cigarette. I was like up to 2 packs a day.
1-800-QUIT now.
I just decided to call and see what it was about and see how they could help. They're there for you. I got stressed out and I picked up a cigarette, so I called the counselor and they told me that, it happens. Sometimes it takes a few tries. Nobody's perfect. Even if you quit, they're still there if you need them. If you're really serious about quitting, call.
Call 1-800-QUIT now, a public service of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and this station.
Well, when you're the commissioner of a small Division III conference like the ODAC, you get to do a little bit of everything. Brad Bankston just out there delivering baseballs to the umpire, chatting with the fans on his way up and back, some of the WNL fans. As Washington and Lee gets ready to send 6, 7, and 8, Cardona, Plantholt, and Deason to the plate. Yeah, rhymes. Bolger's just shaking his head at me, Chris Bolger. And Jacob Geiger here. As we said, Washington Lee and Randolph-Macon facing elimination here. The loser is done for the year. And pack up the equipment until next spring. The winner has to play again tonight. Needs to win tonight and again tomorrow to try and capture that ODAC title. First pitch to Cardona, fastball outside corner, strike one. And the prize of the game here has been Brian Jordan coming on in relief, not even listed as a pitcher. And he's been excellent. Swung on and missed, strike two. Another fastball. Now down in the count, 0-2 is Cardona. Jordan working quickly. Curveball. Actually, that was a tailing fastball. High up around the eyes. Cardona ducks out of the way. Very nice movement on this ball. 2006 was the first time Randolph-Macon had made the tournament since 1997. As Cardona flies into the right can of corn that Conway settled under no problem. They lost 2 games in a row, both then and in 2007. But in 2008, they went 4-0, just blew the field away, shutting out Bridgewater, destroying WNL 13-3, beating Lynchburg 15-2, winning the title with a 4-2 win over Virginia Wesleyan. So they are the defending champions. And they are tied with Washington Lee with 1 out in the 7th. Jim Plantholt watches a fastball. Because I just can't get over how well Brian Jordan's pitching. He's not even listed as a pitcher, and he's got great stuff.
He's really come in and changed the game.
Yeah, he's totally shut down Washington Lee as Plantholt takes another fastball. He's gone 0-2 on the first 2 batters in this inning.
Have to wonder why he didn't start the game.
The way he looked, Breitmeyer was just shelled from the get-go. 0-2 to Plantholt. Curveball chopped to second. And fire to first. When you throw your first 2 strikes, you can come back with a curve and get a ground ball. 2 quick outs now. He looks as sharp or even sharper than Brendan Clark, the General's ace.
He's got a strong fastball, good breaking stuff. I love the movement he's getting on it. It's a lot of arm side tail.
Drew Deason 1 for 3, hit into a double play, flew out, and then hit an RBI single in the 5th. That's the last run of the General score. He swings through a fastball.
Good velocity. Good velocity, too.
Yeah, he's throwing mid-80s, I would say.
Absolutely.
Into the windup. Curveball misses high. You'll seldom see much higher than mid-80s in the D3 level. Guys who do hit 90 also usually have no idea where it's going. The 1-1, swung on and missed. Kick something off of that one. He's got Deason down on the count, 1-2. So Deason digs in against the lefty Jordan, fouls this one back to the screen, just defending himself against an outside fastball.
Looked like Jordan changed his arm slot on that one, dropped down and threw that one a little sidearm.
Jordan, a sophomore from Goochland County, went to Goochland High School. The lefty is 1-2. Deason checks his swing. And that was high and outside, so we go to 2-2. Journal seeing if they can get a 2-out rally going. They got a little action in the previous inning with a single and a hit by a pitch by Lewis and Sarenbetz. And Deason rips this one head high, but right at Davis at shortstop. So a 1-2-3 inning. Deason is robbed of a hit due to some poor aim. Washington Lee goes down 1-2-3 in the top of the seventh. It's stretch time at City Stadium. We're all tied. Randolph Macon is sending 4, 5, and 6 to the plate when we come back in 60 seconds.
Concentrate, Ben. Yes, that's good.
The odds of a child becoming a professional golfer? 1 in 140,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. Here are some of the signs. No big smiles or other joyful expressions by 6 months. No back and forth sharing of sounds or facial expressions by 9 months. And no babbling by 12 months. To learn more of the signs, visit autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
I don't need to start saving. I'm years from retirement.
Floods don't happen here.
This chest pain is just a little indigestion.
This isn't a flood zone, right?
People have an amazing ability to deny obvious risks, like flooding. Yet floods happen in all 50 states. Fortunately, it's easy to find out your risk. Just visit floodsmart.gov or call 1-888-RAIN-022. Brought to you by the National Flood Insurance Program.
City Stadium. Stretch time is wrapping up on this hot and sunny afternoon. Winds died back down again, which is good news for Brendan Clark, since Charlie Hart has been known to get a few up into the jet stream. 12 home runs in the regular season. First pitch from Clark. Fastball misses just inside. Hart thinks about it, lays off. Oh no, they'll say it. Oh, scoreboard said strike one. I thought the umpire called that a ball. We'll check for you. Second pitch. High fly ball into shallow center. John DeTore, Terrence McKelvey, and C.J. Thompson all converge. And it's McKelvey eventually settling under that one when it comes down from the stratosphere.
DeTore was running out to center field with his hands open. Don't think he actually knew where the ball was. Good thing you have senior outfielder Terrence McKelvey coming in.
That one was so far up there that I think Cardona might have been able to come over from right and get under it in time.
Probably.
So that's going to set up a lefty-righty matchup as Michael Wallace digs in the left-handed batter's box. He swings at the first pitch, fouls this one out of play down the left field side, kind of up over our heads and to the left. Bridgewater and Virginia Wesleyan take the field next. Hampton City gets the winner in the nightcap, winner of this game. Pitch taken inside and off-speed, ball one. Action in the Macon bullpen. They got two guys up, a lefty and a righty, as Clark dismisses with the fastball outside. It looks like Nick Simons as the righty and Josh Elwood is the lefty. Nope, beg your pardon, that might be Kyle Hicks, the lefty. Clark misses again outside, 3-1. Pitch chops back over Lewis's head, foul. Just banged straight into the ground. And it was really tough to see the numbers. We're trying to figure out who was out there in the bullpen, but this yellow on black doesn't show up as well as the Generals blue on white. Full count pitch, fouled away, straight back. Nice battle by Wallace. On the Washington and Lee side, only activity in the bullpen is spitting of sunflower seeds. This is Brendan Clark's game, for better or worse. Full count. Got him looking with a slider that cut back in and on the outside corner.
That was a gorgeous backdoor slider by Brendan.
Wallace knew it, too. He was kind of mumbling and grumbling as he walked away, and it was not at the umpire. He was just mad at himself.
No argument there. He put his head down, shook it all the way back to the dugout.
I'm not sure if he was mad at himself or mad at Brendan for throwing such an unhittable pitch.
That was just a perfect pitch. There's not much you can do with a perfect backdoor slider.
That one was untouchable. First pitch low to J.C. Conway.
Gets the strike, though.
Had a sac fly, otherwise is 0 for 2. Yeah, that was low, but over the plate, just got in on the knees, I guess. Conway hammers one into deep center. McKelvey getting under it, looking for it in the sun, has it, and makes the out about 370 feet away. So Brendan Clark goes 1-2-3, sandwiching a strikeout around 2 fly balls from hit to Terrence McKelvey. After 7, we're still tied at 6. Washington and Lee will have 9-1-2 when we come back in 60 seconds.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
At the football game, Jim shows the telltale signs of being wasted. He starts flexing for the camera. He refers to his muscles as gunboats. He screams, "How's this for a halftime show?" Jim streaks the field.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many to drive. But what if you've had just one too many to drive? Never underestimate just a few. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
We're back at City Stadium, and we're waiting during the break. We were talking about a general store we saw along the way. I think it was in Neola or Agricola, one of the metropoli around Route 130 between Glasgow and Lynchburg here, and they had a sign advertising fried pies, and we were still trying to figure out what that is. So if you know, email us, geigerj@wlu.edu, and enlighten us. Otherwise, we're just going to stop at the store on the way home and find out what it is and maybe get one for ourselves. The perks of this tournament: fried pies, Silver Pig barbecue, and lots and lots of baseball as a curveball to C.J. Thompson misses from Jordan for ball 1. Missed a little high, maybe a little outside.
Now, I know I'm a bit of a Yankee, but I spent the last 4 years down here, and I still have no idea what a fried pie is.
Thompson swings and misses with a fastball. I've never heard of a fried pie. I've lived in Virginia for 11 years of my life. So again, enlighten us if you do know. The 1-1 pitch to Thompson en route. He's going to pop this one up into left field. Nice easy can of corn. Settling under it is Wallace. And he makes the out. Well, we head in towards 1:20 in the afternoon. Game all tied at 6. 4 runs from Randolph-Macon in the 5th brought us to that present state. Generals were up 6-2 before that. They got 3 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th.
Jordan on the first pitch to McKelvey drops down sidearm, throws the fastball high for a ball.
He will come from almost every onslaught. It looks like now a 3/4 off-speed pitch, 3/4 arm slot.
A breaking ball right over the middle of the plate.
Just mixing and matching. He's actually throwing like a guy who isn't a full-time pitcher, you know. He's out there just tossing. A 1-1 pitch. This is just outside. Ball 2. But it's effective because he's mixing up his angle, mixing up his pitches. He's throwing very well.
And he's, for the most part, hitting his spots well.
He came on in the 5th to try and get out of the inning and did, as McKelvey
Nearly gets hit in the head with that one.
Gets out of the way for ball 3. He got the last out in the 5th. That's when the Generals had several men on base. Then he's been good in the 6th and 7th. Now has one out quickly in the 8th. 3-1 pitch to McKelvey. McKelvey fights it off into the screen to make it a full count. Three-two, one out. A lefty-lefty matchup as Jordan faces McKelvey. Swung on and missed, and he struck out one of the best hitters in the ODAC, Terrence McKelvey. Well, Terrence swung at the first pitch, the last 2 at-bats. Tried to be more patient this time, but the results were the same. He has to head back to the dugout, and he's frustrated, very frustrated with himself. That's going to bring up John DeTore with 2 away. Torre 1 for 3. He watches a hailing fastball outside for strike 1. Odd for Jordan to be a lefty. This fastball tails away from right-handed hitters. Curveball to the screen. Didn't curve. Just air-mailed it. So 1 ball, 1 strike. No harm, though, for Jordan since no one's on base. Generals had some success this week with 2-out rallies. We'll see what DeTore can do. Swings and misses at a high fastball. And down 1-2.
The 2 pitchers that were warming up in the Randolph-Macon bullpen have now sat down. Looks like they've given the game, at least for the meanwhile, to the pitcher Jordan.
Ryan Jordan, a sophomore outfielder, now pitcher in his spare time. DeTore fouls one off down the right field line, looking out of the stadium. 1-2 is still the count. Well, Jordan's been the only guy who can get outs effectively against Washington Lee so far today for Randolph-Macon. Wind now blowing kind of in from left center. First time he's blown in a while. DeTore chops one down the third baseline, foul into the Bridgewater or the Macon dugout area. They have to take time here as the ball goes into left field on the carom. Bullpen coach tried to make a barehanded grab, but wisely got clear. That one was coming in hot. That looks good. DeTore rips another one, almost takes out Stick, and that was great agility. That was Stickley.
Quick as a mongoose there, leaping up.
Just Stickley doing a little high jump move almost to get over that one-hop liner from DeTore. That's not what you're supposed to do to your coach. You're supposed to do that to the other team.
He's been around long enough to know to get out of the way of those.
Yep. But still nimble enough to get out of the way of those.
Absolutely.
1-2 again to DeTore. Nice battle going. Fastball high, ball 2. Maybe DeTore can wear Jordan out because Generals can't do anything with the bats against him right now, it looks like. He's got them swinging and missing. 2-2 now. Jordan has a sign into that nice, easy windup of his. High leg kick, fouls straight back, does John DeTore. Another fastball. So, DeTore locked in the battle, still 2-2. Here's a pitch from Jordan. DeTore pops it up into shallow center. Going back out is the shortstop. And Davis makes that catch. So another 1-2-3 innings. Jordan has retired 7 Generals in a row. We head to the bottom of the 8th. And the score is still tied at 6. Brendan Clark will be back on the hill for Washington and Lee when we come back in 60 seconds.
What would happen if you didn't follow the established path? Would you feel scared or proud? Could you explain that helping the people of Peru improve their own community would also have an effect on your own? Would you rather make your own way or spend a lifetime saying, what if? Life is calling. How far will you go? Peace Corps. To find out more, call 1-800-424-8580 or go to peacecorps.gov.
Doc, remember me?
Not now, Trig. Hi, I'm Dr. Donica Moore. You've heard about good and bad cholesterol, but how about triglycerides?
Keep me under 150.
Normal triglycerides are under 150. High triglycerides increase risk of heart disease. For women, that risk goes up even more.
150.
The forgotten fat triglyceride needs attention. So please ask your doctor about the forgotten fat triglycerides. For more information, go to forgottenfat.com. A message from Sister to Sister, working together for healthy hearts.
Bottom of the 8th at City Stadium. Brendan Clark is back out for the Generals. He finished the 5th, got 2 outs in that inning, then pitched all of the 6th and 7th, and I expect we'll see him out in the 9th unless trouble occurs. He's going to face 7, 8, 9. Jeff Beck, Jay Leister, and Adam Carpenter. Beck 0 for 2 with a walk. So lefty-righty matchup. Beck digs in left-handed. The designated hitter. First pitch from Clark outside. 4-1, a fastball missing. And now a fly ball, foul out of play though. Another fastball from Brendan. So count even at 1-1. Clark gets a sign from Lewis, set and delivering. Fastball fouled towards the Macon bullpen and now hooking out of play. Jim Plantholt gave chase. He said lots and lots of foul territory down both lines here, except deep in the corners. So Plantholt chased it, but that one ended up into the area behind the fence. 1-2. Clark's pitch to Beck, swung on and missed, took something off of that. And a beautiful pitch from Brendan Clark leads to strike 3 swinging. Second strikeout of the day for Beck. The other one was looking against Laswell. Now Jay Leister has been tearing up Washington Lee. 2 of 3. No, that's not. And the third one was almost a double or triple that Cardona made a diving catch on. First pitch from Clark outside. So he's going to work carefully, even though Leister's number 8 hitter. 1-0 pitch. Whoa! Almost hit Brendan right back up the middle. Brendan stuck out his glove and almost grabbed it, but he's just mostly lucky it didn't nail him.
Looks like Clark left that fastball over the middle of the plate, and Leister did a great job taking it right back up the middle of Brendan.
Jeez, he hit that hard.
Yeah, that's scary as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Only 60 feet away, that ball comes back at you a lot harder than you threw it.
So that's going to bring up Adam Carpenter, the third baseman. He's got a double and a single, so a fly out to right. So the go-ahead run on first base right now, number 9 hitter at the plate. Runner going, chopped foul on a hit and run down the first base line. Carpenter got fooled on that, couldn't get around in time. Said Clark, best ERA on the team, 2.57. And 42 innings pitched. Throw to first. Back standing up is Leister. Poor guy probably hasn't been the victim of this many pickoff throws in half the season. Catcher hitting the 8-hole. See if the hit and run's on again. It is not on this 0-1 pitch. Curveball for a called strike on the outside corner.
I don't know why, but there'll be no pitches today. They've been picking on Leister over at first base.
Scared of his wheels.
Only has 2 stolen bases on the year. Catcher.
And another throw. Leister back standing up. Leave him alone, Brendan.
Granted, this is a good hit and run situation, but
0-2, you think you're going to hit and run? Maybe if you get a couple balls, you might try. 0-2. Curveball. Popped up. Peister circling, tracking it, got his glove up to block the sun, and hangs on. That's a very tough spot to make that catch. It's just a routine fly ball, but the sun is real bright in that particular area. We saw Aaron Reed, the Bridgewater second baseman, drop a routine pop fly in that same area about this time yesterday. So now top of the order. James Bierlein up. On the day, he is 1 for 3 with a walk. Another throw to first. Back in time is Leister. Brendan must think the hit and run is going to be back on here with Bierlein with 2 outs. Bierlein stays, swung and a miss by, or Leister stays, swing and a miss by Bierlein. And it goes 0-1. The admonition for Bierlein to put one out. He does have 2 home runs on the year, just 11 RBIs, hitting up in the leadoff spot. His 23rd start as he watches a strike. Count goes to 0-2. Two with 2 outs. Pitch to Bierlein. Swung on and missed. A fastball on the outside corner. Park works around the 1-out single and throws his 3rd scoreless inning in a row. Still 6-6. We head for the 9th. It's 3, 4, and 5. Lewis, Sarenbetz, and Peister back in 60 seconds. You're listening to Generals Baseball on WLUR 91.5 FM.
Hey.
Oh, hey, Deb. I thought you were the radon test guys.
The who test guys?
Didn't you see the papers Sunday? The Surgeon General issued another lung cancer warning.
Oh, like the cigarette warning?
Yeah. They're saying we have to get our houses tested for radon.
I don't smell any radon in my house.
That's because radon is an odorless, colorless, tasteless gas that seeps into your house from underground.
Does this story have a happy ending?
Yeah. You'll be a lot happier once you get your house tested.
Learn more. Visit the EPA at epa.gov/radon. That's epa.gov/radon.
I thought indoor tanning was safe.
They say their tanning rays were less likely to cause a sunburn.
What you need to know is that they can be worse.
Because the lamps can emit more ultraviolet radiation than the sun, up to 15 times more.
Hello? Not only can UV rays cause skin cancer,
but they can cause ugly, wrinkly skin and age spots. And more than 10,000 people will die from skin cancer each year. You don't want to be one of them.
Be safe. Don't go there. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology. For more information, visit aad.org.
We head to the 9th inning, and we're at the same spot we were at the end of the 5th, 6-6. Both teams, after having some great offensive moments early on, have been stymied by the bullpen. It's been Brendan Clark for Washington and Lee. He came on with the Generals in a huge jam in the 5th. Gave up a hard-hit sac fly, washed the bases back loaded, but then got some help from Cardona and right on Leister's slicing hard-hit line drive that preserved the tie. Over on the other side, it's been Brian Jordan, the left-handed throwing
pitcher outfielder.
He's actually, amazingly enough, also he's listed as someone who throws right. So not only is he not listed as a pitcher, he's not even supposed to be able to throw with his left hand. Nonetheless, he has gone 3 1/3 and given up no runs. He's back out for the 9th. He'll face Will Lewis, so this is a lefty-lefty matchup. Hunter Sarenbetz on deck, Peister in the hole.
Part of the WNL order coming up.
Lewis watches a fastball, waist high down the middle. That's the first pitch you swing at. So 0-1 count. A little past 1:30 here in Lynchburg. Sidearm, strike 2 on the outside corner and low.
Lewis did not agree with that call.
I think it was
left the box quickly and shook his head.
Yeah, it looks good. And again, so first pitch was over the top. Second pitch was 90-degree sidearm.
Yep. Doing well mixing his arm angles.
Only thing we haven't seen is a submariner from him. 3/4. Ground ball from Lewis on the fastball. Fires to first. Does Davis. So 6-3 gets Lewis. That's going to bring up Hunter Sarenbetz. He's been hit twice by a pitch. Also singled. Single in the first was an RBI single, and he came around to score himself on Cardona's hit later that inning. He'll hit righty. See if he can hit instead of be hit. First pitch from Jordan. Sarenbetz offers at it, fouls it down the right field side. Big crowd of WNL fans out today. Students behind the WNL dugout, some parents behind home plate. The legendary Coach Lyles from the WNL Athletic Department out in the right field area. Stopped by to see us earlier. 0-1 pitch. And it's a knee, Sarenbetz, strike 2. inside part of the plate. 0-2, 1 out. Jordan just has pitched phenomenally well so far as he throws a pitch, fastball well outside, ball 2. Literally, I just don't know where the ball's coming from each time.
So it's difficult for a hitter if they can't pick up the arm slot, don't know where the ball's coming. Just adds that extra layer of thinking in there.
2-2, sidearm, chopped right back up the middle for a single. Darren Betts just stayed with that one and went right back through the box.
Pitcher did a great job getting out of the way. Pretty much turned himself parallel to the ground, diving out of the way of that ground ball.
Yeah, he decided that discretion was the better part of valor. He was getting clear and not going to worry about fielding that. Concede the single.
That was Darren Betts' second hit on the day. He has 2 hits, 2 hit-by pitches, and a ground out to the second baseman.
Been on base 4 times.
There you go.
Only scored 1 run, so let's see if the guys below him can now bring him around.
Peister's had a great day. He scored 2 runs, had a double and a single. Last at bat, he struck out looking.
All right, first pitch to Peister. He thinks about it and holds up. That pitch looks good on the inside corner, but is called for ball 1.
Pitcher Jordan has started every single batter this inning with a first pitch fastball, and he's done that in the prior innings too. The general should be aware of that by now, and they should be sitting on that first pitch fastball.
That first pitch fastball was inside, but it backed Peister off the plate a little bit. He swings and misses at what was ball 2, a fastball in the dirt. It's frustrating. You see a pitcher working well, you don't want to help him out when he's already giving you all fits. One pitch to Byron. Curveball gets the outside corner, strike 2. It's a beautiful spot. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Tie game, top of the 9th. Jordan taking his time, looking things over. Peister in the box, ready to go. A waggle on the bat, a little Gary Sheffield style. Now set and ready. Pitch. High fly ball into the left center field gap. Everyone going back. That's going to be over the wall. A home run. Byron Peister just nailed that 400 feet over the left center field wall. I cannot believe it. Washington the lead is up 8-6.
That was an absolute bomb. Not only did it clear the 16-foot high wall out there, it hit 3/4 of the way up the 20-foot net on top of that. Byron Peister absolutely tagged that pitch.
So when I thought that was going off the wall for a double, I was happy enough with that.
That ball just kept going up and up.
Jiminy Christmas. Well, that home run by Byron Peister, his first of the season.
2-run home run, drives in Darren Betts.
You could not have picked a better time for that.
That was clutch right there.
So 8-6 Washington Lee. And they were so excited, even the bullpen had to come in to congratulate him. So Washington Lee is going to have their ace on the hill with the lead. That's what you want to do. As Cardona takes strike 1.
I just can't get over how far he hit that. That wall out there is at least 380 feet, 16-foot high fence, and it cleared it by a good 15 feet.
Cardona swings and misses, and another fastball, 0-2. Yeah, he just hit the living daylights out of that.
It was a perfect pitch to hit, middle inside fastball. He was sitting on it, he turned on it. That was awesome.
All right, the 0-2. Cardona loops it down the right field side out of play. Foul ball.
I know we mentioned this earlier. This stadium is not friendly to home run hitters.
First one we've seen in 3 games here so far.
It's not especially deep down the lines, but it has huge gaps. Plus that 16-foot high wall.
0-2, swung and missed. Fastball low and away, so Cardona goes down swinging. It's going to bring up Jim Plantholt. It's only like the second or third WNL home run I've seen in 3 years of this tournament. It tells you how rarely those come along. You know, each of the tournaments WNL has played at least 3 games.
I can't remember more than 1 or 2 when I was playing for WNL, our team or the opposing team. You just don't see many here.
2 outs, Plantholt up, and soft liner to first base for the 3rd out. As Hart grabs it, but not before Byron Peister puts WNL on top. They're 3 outs away from heading to another game tonight. But first, they're going to have to retire 2, 3, and 4 in the Randolph Macon lineup. So Peister puts the Generals ahead. We're going to be back and see what Brendan Clark can do after this 60-second timeout.
Global warming is here. The effects may seem slight now, but in a few decades, they could be massive.
Heat waves, floods, and food shortages. What can we do? We can join together, because when many unite as one,
we can achieve anything.
Together, we're powerful. Find out how we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
What if you didn't care about being on the fast track? Instead of flying to the big interview, what if you flew somewhere else altogether? Like a village in Botswana or a tiny island in the Pacific where needs are easy to see. What if you decided to share your skills with others and help someone else get ahead? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go? To find out more, call 800-424-8580 or visit peacecorps.gov.
Bottom of the ninth. Third day of the ODAC tournament here at City Stadium. Washington and Lee lost a big lead early. Game was tied at 6, and then Byron Peister's home run just moments ago, a 2-run bomb, and we mean that in the truest sense of the word, into left center, has given Brendan Clark a chance to take this win and send his team on to a night game with Hampton-Sydney. Clark's the guy you want out there right now. It's his game. He'll face 2, 3, and 4. Kevin Davis leads off, and he lines a hard-hit ball right at Terrence McKelvey in center. 2 outs to go.
1 pitch, 1 out. Awesome. WNL is now 2 outs away from a victory.
All right, Greg Molesky. He's coming to the plate. 0 for 3. Reached on an error, also walked. Flew out and struck out. And the strikeout came against Clark in the 6th to end the 6th. Lefty-righty matchup. Molesky in there on the left side takes ball 1 outside.
Another thing to note, in the last 3 innings of work, Brendan Clark has struck out 5 batters.
He's dealing his best stuff right now after a little rough start. Misses away 2-0.
Striking out 5 of the 11 batters he faced. That's dominance.
And for the most part, keeping the ball over the plate after that 5th inning, too. Fly ball down the left field line. We'll see if it hangs into play. C.J. Thompson got it at the line. It was a great play on the run for the 2nd out. That was hooking in towards the bullpen area, and that's where the foul territory gets really narrow, and Thompson hung in there and got it right at the line. So that's going to bring up Charlie Hart, a home run hitter himself. He came in with 12 more than Peister. That would be 12-0. But today's score, Peister 1, Hart 0. He is the last chance for Randolph-Macon. Righty-righty matchup. Pitch from Clark. Curveball, beautifully placed, strike 1.
Gorgeous curveball by Brendan there. Nice pitching backwards. Started off the last 2 batters with fastballs.
Will Lewis calling another good game. Fastball, chops to short. Torrey takes it on the chest high hop. Fires to first, and for the first time since 2005, Washington and Lee has won a pair of games at the ODAC tournament. They've got a long way still to go towards the title. They'll have to beat Hampton-Sydney at 7 p.m. tonight, but the hero of the hour is Byron Peister. Take a bow. Your 2-run home run has given the Generals a 6-8 win. Randolph-Macon is eliminated. They're going to finish the year 18-19, and they gave the Generals all they can handle here, though.
Jenny's just pulled it out in the end. We had a clutch pitching performance by Brendan Clark, and probably the best display of clutch hitting we've seen all year. Byron Peister in the top of the 9th, dropping an absolute bomb of a 2-run home run over the left center field wall to put the Jennies up by 2.
All right, Washington and Lee has won 20 games this year. 5 of them have been won on a game-winning hit by Byron Peister. This was the first one that wasn't a walk-off, but he obviously gets the credit for this game-winning hit. Why don't we take a 2-minute timeout? We're going to come back, have our player of the game. If you can't guess who that's going to be, well, I don't know what's wrong with you. But anyway, we're back in 2 minutes. Post-game stats and a look ahead when we come back.
It's important to make sure your family has a plan in case of an emergency. We talked to this family to see if each of them knew where to meet if they were not together when something happened.
If a natural disaster happened and we were outside the home, we would all meet at the park. That's our meeting point.
I'm meeting place at our neighbor's house because she is my mom's good friend.
We all have a meeting spot, which is a bus stop.
Is your plan any better? To learn more about making an emergency plan for your family, go to ready.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the Ad Council.
I couldn't even imagine myself without a cigarette. I was like up to 2 packs a day.
1-800-QUIT now.
I just decided to call and see what it was about and see how they could help. They're there for you. I got stressed out and I picked up a cigarette, so I called the counselor and they told me that, it happens. Sometimes it takes a few tries. Nobody's perfect. Even if you quit, they're still there if you need them. If you're really serious about quitting, call.
Call 1-800-QUIT now, a public service of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and this station.
Concentrate, Ben. Yes, that's good.
The odds of a child becoming a professional golfer? 1 in 140,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. Here are some of the signs. No big smiles or other joyful expressions by 6 months. No back and forth sharing of sounds or facial expressions by 9 months. And no babbling by 12 months. To learn more of the signs, visit autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
I don't need to start saving. I'm years from retirement.
Floods don't happen here.
This chest pain is just a little indigestion.
This isn't a flood zone, right?
People have an amazing ability to deny obvious risks, like flooding. Yet floods happen in all 50 states. Fortunately, it's easy to find out your risk. Just visit floodsmart.gov or call 1-888-RAIN-022. Brought to you by the National Flood Insurance Program.
Back at City Stadium, Washington and Lee takes an 8-6 victory over Randolph Macon. The Generals play tonight at 7 p.m. That game's going to be brought to you by Jeremy Franklin on Stretch Internet, a special production of WLUR on Stretch Internet. To catch that game at 7 p.m., go to our website, wlur.wlu.edu. And the Generals, as I said, have not been this late in the tournament since 2005 when they won their first 2 games, then lost their next 2. Generals won day 1, lost yesterday, win today this morning. Their work is not done. It's a split doubleheader. First, though, it'll be Bridgewater and Virginia Wesleyan, as we said. The number 6 seed and number 5 seed, though, will play tonight for the right to move on to the Sunday games. Washington and Lee. Chris has to figure out who's going to pitch tonight. I have no earthly idea, but what do you do when you get to this point of the tournament? You've used everyone.
I think you have to ask Chuck Davidson to nut up and come in and throw a few good innings and then pitch by committee from that point on.
Yeah, I think that's what you do have to do. Maybe, if you can get Chuck to throw 3, maybe Brendan.
You have Jimmy Planholt come in, throw 2 maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's just going to have to be a pitch by committee situation, and then if we win tonight's game, we really don't know what to do on Sunday. Let's have a lot of young arms coming in there getting some innings.
Alston James, he's got a 3.18 ERA, but only about 6 innings pitched on the year. He's probably going to make an appearance. Pat Smith, he's thrown 15 innings. We might see him. Heck, we could see somebody from the freshman side of the roster who hasn't pitched all season. This broadcast has been brought to you by Duke's Antique Center, located at 30 Pinnacle Lane, just north of Walmart. Open 365 days a year from 9 to 6. 463-9511 at Duke's Antique Center. Seeing is believing. And the Washington and Lee University Store, located in the Commons on the W&L campus, featuring expanded lines of Under Armour, Vineyard Vines, and Polo made exclusively for W&L. They're also an authorized Apple campus reseller, open Monday through Friday 8 to 7, Saturday from 10 to 5, or visit them online at bookstore.wlu.edu. The University Store wishes good luck to the Generals, and no surprise here, Washington Lee player of the game is Byron Peister. But before we talk about that, an honorable mention to Brendan Clark. He pitches the last 4 2/3 innings for Washington Lee. Came on in the 5th with just 1 out. Got 2 outs there, just let one of the 3-rounders he inherited score. Then he just mowed him down.
Gave up 2 hits, 5 strikeouts.
So Brendan Clark is almost the co-player of the game, but, the obvious.
I think you have to give the nod to Byron Peister on this one.
So, in case you missed it, Byron Peister with 1 out in the 9th inning just launched an absolute monster shot about 390, 400 feet into left center. It hit the netting that goes behind the 16.5-foot wall. That netting is probably 30 feet high. The ball hit 2/3 of the way up. So it was 25 feet high, 380 feet out when it finally cleared the fence.
It's an absolute bomb. And it wasn't just in that inning. Byron also had an amazing game. He had a single in the 1st inning and a double in the 3rd inning. Scored 3 runs and had 2 RBIs.
Let's take you through the entire General's stats. Terrence McKelvey was 1 for 4, also had a walk. John DeTore 1 for 4 with an RBI. Will Lewis 2 for 5 with a pair of singles. Hunter Starenbetz was 2 for 3, also was hit by 2 pitches. He had an RBI as well. Byron Peister, as we said, 3 for 5, 2 RBI. Those were 2 very important RBI. Also 3 runs scored, so leading the Generals in that category. Anthony Cardona, 2 for 4, was also hit by a pitch and had a very good game out in the field. Aside from that one drop, made some great plays that helped preserve the lead for Washington Lee when the game was tied also. Made some nice plays then. Jim Plantholt, 1 for 5. He had an RBI ground out along the way. Drew Deason, 1 for 4 with an RBI. C.J. Thompson was 1 for 4. The box for the Yellow Jackets of Randolph Macon beer line, 1 for 4 with a run and a hit, no RBI. Davids was 2 for 5 with a run, 2 hits, and an RBI. Zaleski 0 for 4 with a run scored. Hart 1 for 5 with an RBI. 0 for 3 was Wallace. He did walk once. 0 for 4 was Conway. 0 for 3 Beck. Then 3 for 4 Leister. He had 3 hits, no RBIs, and just 1 run. And then Carpenter 2 for 4 with a run and an RBI. So the other big thing for Washington and Lee is they got 5, 6, and 7 to go combined 0 for 10, and they only gave up 1 hit to 4 and 5. So 1 for 19, but from the 4 through 7 4 through 7 spots in the lineup. Anytime you do that, you're going to be very effective.
I mean, it was great that the bottom of the lineup was able to give so much production, but when the bottom of the lineup does great and the top and the middle of the lineup doesn't, you're just not going to score. Yeah, really, only Davis, Carpenter, and Leister had any success against Greg Laswell and Brendan Clark. Laswell had a great start, and I don't know if there's any chance he could pitch an inning tomorrow if he had to. Probably not. It looked like he was getting pretty tired in the 5th inning. He did throw a fair amount of pitches, but he did have a fantastic outing, especially through 4. The pitching totals, Laswell gets the start for Washington and Lee. He went 4 1/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, 4 of them earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts through 103 pitches. So as he said, he did get tired in there as his pitch count got up. Brendan Clark goes 4 2/3 in just 59 pitches. He's going to pitch tomorrow, even if he, can't walk for the next week. And if he doesn't pitch tomorrow, I expect to see him definitely on Sunday throwing a few innings. Tomorrow is Sunday. Oh, he doesn't pitch. I thought tonight. I'm not sure if he'll pitch tonight. Clark went 4 2/3, 2 hits, no runs. Again, no runs in 4 2/3 innings, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. So he struck out 5 of the 17 batters he faced. On the other side, Randolph Macon got the start from Kurt Breitmeyer. He only lasted 2 innings, gave up 9 hits, 5 runs, all earned. Struck out 0, walked 1. Hale Jordan went 2 2/3, or Hale Linton, I beg your pardon, 2 2/3, 2 hits, 1 run, it was earned. Then Brian Jordan, 4 1/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 4 strikeouts. And really, he threw 73 pitches, was not listed as a pitcher. And aside from that mistake he made to Peister and the single that Sarenbetz got right before it, Jordan had a great outing himself. He pitched pretty well. So maybe he's only a sophomore. Maybe that is something he will be doing more of as the next season goes forward. But Randolph-Macon, tough defeat for them. They lose 8-6. A dramatic win for Washington and Lee. Again, Washington and Lee will play tonight, 7 p.m. against Hampton-Sydney. That is on Stretch Internet, and we hope you will be sure to tune in. In just a few minutes, we're going to have women's lacrosse coming your way. Jeremy Franklin is down in Roanoke, I believe, for the call of that game. And any final thoughts, Chris, before we turn it back to the studio in Lexington? I want to say congratulations to the Generals on a fantastically played game, and especially to Byron Peister for that clutch hit in the top of the ninth. And you just got to wish him well tonight and hope we see him tomorrow. It will be an adventure tonight. The Generals, like every team at this stage, out of pitching for all intents and purposes, so it's going to be mix and match, see what you can get. Hopefully someone will step up. Today it was Brendan Clark throwing a gem, stepping up, almost 5 innings in relief. Who knows who it'll be tonight? Jeremy Franklin will be here tonight for that 7 o'clock game. But now let's turn it over to Jeremy for women's lacrosse from Roanoke
For Chris Bolger, I am Jacob Geiger. You've been listening to General Baseball on 91.5 WLUR FM Lexington. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you will tune in tonight, and we'll cross our fingers and hope you can tune in for the championship on Sunday.